coming up live.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see on that one. See on that one. I'm gonna take that one over there, and I think I'm gonna try to make a couple of shorts out of it.
Oh, okay.
So anyway,
So we're live?
should be.
Oh, okay. Hey, y'all.
I haven't been notified yet.
Yeah, I said my thing's upcoming, so.
You get notified on your email. At least I do.
Oh, okay.
And I ain't got nothing on there yet. There it is. There it is.
Okay.
Mark Ryan, greeting from Iowa. Thanks so much for sending the magazine. Oh, okay. When I mail them, Mark, you're going to learn if you follow. Let me shut that off. You're going to learn that I have a memory about this long when it comes to names. Sue always tells everybody I can remember 5, and that's it. But actually, it's not 5. I can remember more than that. It all depends on how many times I see somebody or how many times that I talk to somebody or see your name on here. Then I have a tendency to start to remember you. So, but hope the magazine helped. I give them away about once a month.
They come once a month in the paper.
Yeah, they don't cost me nothing. It just costs me to mail it to you. That's all. And to be quite honest with you, it's my way of trying to get some people to come to the channel and to the live show, because I only give those away on the live show during the live show. If it's a replay, we don't give nothing away.
Yeah.
I did the same thing on the WNL show. We had games where we gave gift cards away, and the whole idea of that was to get more people to come to the live show.
Yeah.
Let me just say that did not work. So 3 years.
We tried.
So 3 years later, after doing the show every month for 3 years, we don't do it anymore. We just cut it.
Yeah. Kathy Miller says hello from Iowa. 2 weeks from today, my puppy and I hit the road for our move to the Villages. Well, come on down.
Where are you moving to, Kathy? Do you know? Have you bought yet? Are you renting?
Yeah. And Vic says hi, Skip and Sue from Finney. Well, hello, Finney. You're not that far away. I just come from there. I actually come from Edna's.
We've been to his house.
Wrong person.
It's the wrong Vic?
Yes, wrong Vic.
Sorry.
Different Vic. That's the way with Cindy's. We got so many Cindy's, and we get messed up with the Cindy's, so. And Phil. Ain't nothing going around, Phil.
Well, we're running late because of her.
Well, we're not.
But we announced this last Porch Settin last week.
Right.
We said that we weren't going to start until probably around 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Hopefully to give people time to maybe get arranged to it. I hope it doesn't really affect how many people come to the show.
Are we going to do 3 o'clock from now on?
No.
No?
Just do it this week.
Okay. Kathy says she's renting in Richmond until she buys her next forever home.
She's renting what?
In Richmond.
Oh, I know Richmond.
Until she buys her home. Yeah.
Richmond's a pretty nice area. It's just a short little hop and a jump to get to Brownwood.
Yeah. Hey, Barbara.
As far as knowing anything about Richmond, I really don't. And the only few things that I know about Richmond, they got the golf cart parking down there to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
That's really all I know. I don't recall ever going down there and seeing any of the community centers, swimming pools.
No, you need to do that.
Nah, I don't know if I want to do anything. Everybody's doing it, and I don't want to do what everybody else is doing.
You know, but the people that watch you want to see it.
People, let me tell you, I know this for facts. The people that watch me, watch them all.
Wow. But like I said, if you do it better.
I don't do it better.
You never know that. Oh, Phil wants to know if there's any fudge left. Little bit. That was good fudge. Phil wanted to know if there's any fudge left.
Yeah. I had some of that fudge the other day, as a matter of fact. I don't know what I had, though. I mean, you say rum, whiskey, I can't taste it.
It's on this cellophane on the outside.
This was what you had laying on the counter.
Oh, okay.
You cut a piece off to eat it, I think, and I grabbed it.
Oh, okay, I think it.
It was a dark fudge.
Yeah, I think that was the bourbon.
That's pretty good.
Yes, it is. He made a good batch this time. Sydney C says, hello from Kentucky. This is my third time listening in, and I love Porch Settin. We know, Sydney, we don't normally have an agenda. We let you guys direct the conversation. If you've got questions or if you've got a comment about something, like I said, we kind of feed off of what you tell us. And like I said, I've got my notes here just in case, because last week got kind of boring, I thought, because really y'all had run out of questions, and I didn't have a lot to give to you. And so I got prepared this week that I have a lot of information just in case.
We're going to answer, or she is basically. I'm not. I don't have an answer. I had a guy send me an email a 3 nights ago. I'm going to read it to you. I've got it right here. It's from Tony Overstreet. I don't know if that's his real name or just a made-up name. It says, I'm a longtime subscriber and my go-to guy for answers as I think about the move to the villages. You have given good, honest, straightforward information about how much it costs to live in the villages. I don't think I've ever gave any opinion about how much it costs here to live in the villages. I just tell you what I know, what I pay for like my water or what I pay for my house insurance, but I don't know what it costs to live here for different people because everybody's different. So you've never heard me give you a figure of how much it's going to cost you to live here per month. We did have a video out, and it's been a few years ago because the prices has really changed. Yes. But we did have a video out about what our bills was and what it run us. And that's what we're always talking about when we give our money figures, how much we're paying here. Right. That don't necessarily mean you're going to be paying this down to the Finney area. Yeah, and if you're buying $1 million home, you know, what we do, it doesn't apply. Oh, yeah. you can get a guess, yeah. But yeah. So anyway, another channel, I wonder who that is. Stuff. So what a channel, it says, is $3,000 a month plus a mortgage if you have one. A local realtor, not Ira, agreed. From my research and watching everything you have said, I can't figure where they come up with the $3,000. Am I missing something? $3,000 is almost a deal breaker for me. I own a condo at the beach near Panama City. Stay there. You're in a great area to start with. I go to Panama City every now and then to get my RV worked on. There's nothing wrong with where you're at. I don't know what you pay as far as amenities and stuff, so, you know, I'm talking out my butt. It says, I own a condo in Panama City, and my monthly costs are nowhere near $3,000 a month. Thanks for your input, Tony. I will turn it over to her, Tony, because I don't know. I swear, anybody who watches me knows that I don't know what it costs to live here. Sue pays the bills. But I jumped her when she got in. I said, hey, how much does it cost to live here per month? And I told her about your email. And I told her, I said, if it costs $3,000 a month just to be here, we're on our way out. I'm not going to let this place run me broke. Yeah. And I told her what your email said. And I said, I just can't imagine it costing us $3,000 a month just for this house just to sit here. Now, they're saying, because I asked him, I got another email. I said, are they including food costs and all that kind of stuff? And he said, no, they're saying just the basic amount of your house just sitting on that lot is $3,000 a month. And I said, I find it hard to believe that it costs that much to sit here. Yeah. And I would actually have to sit down and figure it up because, I do everything automatically paid. So I would have to sit down and actually figure it out. I have some paperwork here that we've got because our fire maintenance fee is going up, and it's going up considerable, which would be another $207 for us, I believe, a month. Plus, there's another paper I got in the mail about the amenity fees, which are going up also. And I think it went up like $89. That's a year, though. Yeah. Now they are having. You sure our fire fees are $200 a month? No, it'll be. You said $200 a month. That's what they want to increase. Not $200 a month. It have to be $200 a year. Well, yeah, a year. Yeah, but and our assessment maintenance fees, I think are $596.01 now, and the maintenance assessment fee of the parcel is going to go up to $685.41 a year. And then, of course, the fire fee went up like $200 a year, not a month. So, I was have to sit down and figure that out. I don't think it's $3,000, but I don't know exactly what they considered. Whether they considered your house insurance, your cable bill. We have to. For your house to sit here, here's what he's wanting to know. For your house to sit here empty, if you don't do anything else, you're a snowbird, or you buy a house like this guy did and just leave it set, how much does it cost, no mortgage, for that house to legally sit there?
Okay.
You got yard maintenance, water bill, electric bill, house insurance, taxes, property taxes, bond fees if you have a bond,
Yeah.
all of that. They're saying $3,000 a month. I think that's too high.
Yeah, it seems high to me, but like I said, I'd have to sit down and figure that all out. And plus, with it going up, like I said, that's almost an extra $300 a month with the fees they're wanting to raise. And so, yeah, I'd have to sit down and figure it out. I don't know right off the bat. The 3,000 seems high for this house. Like I said, it depends on what house and what they're including. Because like I said, there are some $1 million homes here. There's also patio villas and courtyard villas. They're not as big as this one. So the fees are different depending on where you want to live, what kind of lifestyle you want to live. But I'll take some time and sit down and figure that stuff out and let you know.
I will say that I don't know where they got their figures, but years ago, the villages, back when we were looking at this place, they had a portfolio that they would give all prospective buyers. And in that portfolio, of course, it listed all the homes, where the starting prices were, so on and so forth. But it had an average monthly cost back then. And they had a list of things and what the average monthly cost was on that home. A lot of the cost they had in there is, to me, doesn't have anything to do with the house, but seems to me the average monthly cost back then was something like close to $2,000 a month with property tax, appraisal. Mortgage had a question mark because some people pay cash for a house, they don't have that. But the property tax, you're going to pay that. The bond, if any, you're going to pay that, so on and so forth. So they had the average cost per month for a new house. And I'm thinking it was around $2,000 a month back then. Now, in that $2,000 figure, though, was average cable bill, average cell phone bill. They were putting things in there for what it would cost the average person to live here. I don't know if that's really conceivable, because you're going to pay a cell phone bill no matter where you live. Doesn't make a difference if here or in Indianapolis. But the property taxes we pay here will be different than anywhere else you live, probably. So that's a hard question to answer anybody, is how much does it cost to live here? But
I will work on the answer and tell you how much it will cost for us to live here, and you can go from there. Like I said, but I have to sit down and do those figures. I haven't done that in a while.
I will say, since COVID, to live here is getting more and more expensive.
Yes.
And they keep blaming it on the growth. And I just don't get that in my mind, is why it would cost more amenity fees because they build another 10,000 homes. Because they're paying amenity fees too. It seems to me it should all round out.
But with the amenity fees, they're talking about your landscaping, and that stuff goes up. And like I said, it's, you bear the price or you don't do it.
Well, if you buy a new house, nothing says you got to landscape anything.
No.
So it doesn't cost you anything if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the cost you have to pay no matter what. Property taxes is a have to. Insurance is a have to. The guy that mows the grass, that's a have to. And part of our district rules was, and I assume it's that way everywhere, your grass must stay green. You can't go home in the summer months, not water your yard, and all the grass in your yard die. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. Complaints will be made, and fines can be given. Yeah. But just things you have to do. And I'm thinking, just off the top of my head, I just can't believe it's $3,000 a month. But if it is, my house will be for sale.
Okay. Phil, no, I don't need a refill yet. I'm good right now. Mary Stiver says, my father helped Mr. Schwartz turn this into a fabulous living place with the old side called the Orange Blossom area. It was cow pasture, had to be torn down to accomplish this. Yeah, a lot of this was, and I remember when we first come here, they had fields full of buffalo, and it was, it was nice. I love the wildlife aspect of it, but people make their own problems, and somebody had a kid that wanted to get their picture taken with the buffalo, and there was an incident, and I think that took care of it. Now they still do have buffalo around, but I think they're hidden. They're in pastures where you don't actually drive around or get to see that kind of thing. They keep them out of the public.
I'm always amazed how stupid people can be.
Well,
and then blame somebody else for it.
It happens. Look at all the zoos.
No. For example, I just saw just the other day on Channel 8 News, I think, Yellowstone National Park, again, every year, right? Somebody gets out of their car with the camera, walks over to the buffalo, laying on the ground, and want to get a picture with it. And the buffalo got up and, went after her. What's she going to do? Sue the park because she was stupid?
Some of them do. That's what I said. There's always an incident somewhere. So, but
oh well.
Yeah.
I'll get off that rant.
Hey, Carol, Cindy, Gringo. Well, hello. Oh, and Barbara, Phil's fudge is to die for. I mean, it's very, very good. And I'm a chocolate person anyhow. But his has a little bit of bourbon or a little bit of rum in it.
A little bit. Well, no, this last batch didn't have near as much. But he had some.
It's potent stuff.
You wouldn't want to eat it driving a car.
Yeah. He makes the fudge first, and then he soaks the nuts in the booze, and that way, otherwise it would burn out. But
Phil soaks his nuts in the booze.
Yes. Oh, hey, Mr. Rizzo.
KM said, I thought you went to Indiana. No, we told you last Wednesday, KM, that this week would probably be around 3 o'clock because her and the W&L crew went to some wine tasting thing down here, and it started at noon.
Yeah,
so.
it was very pleasant actually, because the only time I've actually ever been to Edna's, the place was packed, and today it was not. And I said we were kind of the only ones inside of Edna's, and I said really until probably 1 o'clock there wasn't a whole lot of people coming in, and it still was kind of empty. So that's the time to go. But I think we'd been down there in the season whenever all the snowbirds were here, and there wasn't even a parking place. So, but today was pretty nice. And the lady that gave the seminar was, very good. They didn't have any wine that I liked. I'm not a Pinot person. I don't care for rosé. I like a sweet wine, and none of the ones that she had was a sweet wine. But I wanted to learn, and she explained a lot about, how you tell what region it comes from and the color, and and for some reason I said they could tell me anything and I wouldn't know, because they're always talking about what do you smell, what fruits do you smell, or that kind of thing. All I smell is alcohol. I don't smell strawberry or peach or anything like that with wine. I smell alcohol, and that's why I don't drink that kind of wine, because I don't care for that. But it was interesting, and they had a charcuterie board that had a bunch of munchies on it, and Jose was munching down on the charcuterie board because he hadn't ate yesterday, so he was starving. But it was nice because when she would give you a wine, she would tell you to try it with this kind of cheese or with this fruit or that kind of thing, and it was really interesting. But I don't know as I learned a whole lot.
This is why I did not go.
Oh, you just...
First of all, they use a word like charcuterie.
That's what you call it.
And second of all, they teach you how to pair a wine with cheese. This is all stupid to me.
Well, no, I did say it. I said I didn't like the wine.
The best wine is the wine that you like. That's it.
That's true. But like I said, I wanted to learn something, and I did. Not that I'll retain any of it, but I learned.
Did you learn how to spell charcuterie?
I already knew that. But we had a good time, I mean, it was Linda and Judy and Jose and I, and we all had a good time just being together. So that in itself was fun. So, and we showed each other, after she got done, we were showing each other pictures on our phones, and, this is my mom and dad, and this is my little sister, and that kind of thing.
God. They're breaking out the pictures of the grandkids.
Yeah, and this is what I looked like when I was fat. And it was, like I said, it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it.
See, I'm just the opposite. This is what I looked like when I weighed 140 pounds.
Yeah.
This is what I looked like when I had hair, and it was dark.
Yeah. And then, and I'm the chemical queen. I've had every kind of color under the sun. So I said, yeah, I had pictures of, I was looking for the pictures when I was blonde. I was blonde at one time. I had short blonde hair. I couldn't find this. Evidently, I took those pictures off my phone. Laura Lambert says, I wish I could drink a whole bottle of wine at work. Management frowns on that. Yes, I can understand.
Some of the best wine that we had was, I told this story before, I'll make it short and sweet. We was heading out to California in the RV at 120 degrees in the sun. We went to a Harvest Host, which was a winery in the desert. Who would have thought there was a winery in the desert? One of the best wineries you've ever been to. We got a bottle of wine. We both liked it so much, we got a second one, and we drank it before we went back to the camper.
Yeah, before we drug ourselves back to the camper. Yeah. But yeah, the best wine is the wine that you like. But like I like learning new things. JC wants to know, when is the heat going to cease? Starting today, I mean, it's went down today. I think the high today was only supposed to be like 94. So it's come down considerable. It almost feels decent out there, really, compared to what it was, when it got to 100. Skip and I think poor guy was out on the porch the other day. And I went out and told him, it's 105 degrees out here.
It was pretty hot.
Yeah.
It was under the shade, but it's pretty hot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the heat or the moisture or both, the humidity, but yeah. You sit out there and you just sweat. Even though it wasn't bad, I can tell you out there on a hot day, the fan, sometimes we set that fan up if we're out there doing porch setting with this, to blow just a breeze across there. And that makes a pretty big difference.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle. I'll call you after bed. I was kind of in the middle of a wine tasting when you called. Kyle Rizzo.
Oh.
Hey, John.
If Barbara ever wants us to Collier. Yeah, Collier's a nice neighborhood. It's just like this one.
It is.
Across the street.
Yeah, it's not. It's pretty close to here.
It's a pretty good size. It's bigger than ours. I don't know how many homes are in there, but it's a bigger area. And you're kind of like, if you look at a triangle, Collier is a triangle. You got the tip. Over here's Pinellas. Over here's Brownwood. You're in that triangle. We're over here. Brownwood's here. Pinellas is over here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's a good area over there. Nothing wrong with it.
Bill wants to know, why won't the parish to be in charge there, listen to most of the residents and do something about stopping the quick days Airbnb rentals? I don't know. I don't know who's basically in charge of that.
That would be a developer thing. He has to change the district rules, and then if he changes the district rules, then the supervisors for that district will have to put it out for vote. And then they vote to change the rules. They change them in these areas all the time. But one of them voted they wanted stripes on their golf cart paths. Everybody else said no. They said yes, so they got them. There's another one that's been changed here recently. Oh, I just read it. It'll be on next week's news that in this certain district, and I forget what district it is, they have taken the driveway color to task. Now you have to go to ARC in that district to get the colors approved for your driveway, because people over there have been painting their driveways weird colors. I'm kind of joking when I say I like it the way it is with the rules. People say they can't live with these rules. Well, it's okay. If you can't, then this ain't the place for you. I personally like the idea that my neighbor can't paint their house John Deere green and trim it in John Deere yellow. Yeah. Now that sounds like a joke, but there's people here that will do that, and I can show you some driveways that are just butt ugly.
And y'all can see why Skip picked out the colors for our driveway. Oh my. Yeah, and a lot of times they're button heads with the state rules also. Like I said, state rules, like I said, a lot of things, especially when it comes to like Airbnb, that kind of thing, the state has a lot to do with that. And so a lot of times they're button heads with them, so that has to come into being too. But yeah, I wish they would get a handle on it, because I know a lot in the new area. They sold a lot of homes to be rentals because people weren't ready to retire, but they was afraid they weren't going to get here. And so they went ahead and bought a home and made it a rental for that reason. And so I said, now we've not had any problem here.
Most people that rent a house out, like for the winter months or whatever, well, who's going to come down for 3 or 4 months? There's always people in the age bracket that should be here. they're retired or semi-retired or whatever. The problem is the Airbnbs because they renting them out to somebody that's got 4 kids, or it's a bunch of college kids coming down for spring break and they're wanting to party and whoop it up a little bit. Now, there's a lot of people that takes offense to us saying that, but because they like the idea of being able to rent them for a week or so when their kids come down because their house ain't big enough to accommodate everybody. And I got no problem with that as long as they're being paid. But it's the partiers coming down here, and that's the way it always is. The bad are going to make it bad for the good.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, KM prices went up in home and car insurance. Yeah, the home insurance, like I said, I haven't got my statement yet, but I'm sure it's going to go up. I'm just really wondering how far it's going to go up. But like I said, I've heard some really real horror stories, and you know that being that we're in Florida with the hurricanes and everything, the insurance companies, they've paid out a lot of money the last few years because of hurricane damage, and some of them have actually left the state because of it. And I kind of understand that part of it. They got to make money if they can't stay in business, but that doesn't help us out any. So I'm waiting to get my statement to see what I'm going to have to pay this year. So
I think the biggest problem with house insurance really ain't the fact that they're paying out. They got a lot of money invested in the stock market and stuff, and so they're getting a lot of money back too.
yeah,
But it's the insurance companies that are pulling out. The more they pull out, the less competition they have. The less competition they have, they can do what they want.
yeah. Beer of the day here is rum. It says Gringo says beer of the day is rum. Okay.
See, Phil, that's how you spell charcuterie.
I know how to spell it. Didn't you?
No, I have never used that word in my life.
I should have wrote it down for you.
I see you walking in a truck stop. They got a charcuterie plate. Yeah.
And there are some restaurants that do that now.
Truck stops don't have.
Well, no, probably not a truck stop, but I don't know anymore. The truck stops are Arby's or
Jane R says our annual expenses break down to $1,513 per month. Now that sounds kind of reasonable to me. I'd say between that and $2,000-ish, depending on where you're at.
yeah.
3,000. I think that includes a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, and as we said, we'd have to know all the particulars of what they added in for that 3,000. And I think they didn't. They used to have, like he said, they used to give it on the paperwork that they give you when they wanted to show you houses and stuff. But I think on districtgov.org, I think they've got a place on there that you can actually see what they estimate as what it would cost a month.
Yeah, but look what they're putting on there, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Be aware. Just don't pay attention to that bottom figure. Look and see what they're adding. Are they adding cable? Most people don't have cable anymore. Not here. We don't. We stream it. And then they talk about Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi at $49. Well, it depends on who you are. Does Wi-Fi at $49 do what you want done? It doesn't do what I want done. Our Wi-Fi is like $90, close to $100. So there's a lot of if in there.
But you got to negotiate those prices, but for that kind of thing. Bill, he's wanting to know what their amenity fees is going to be. That's fire protection. I think ours was going up like $89.
I just read it.
Okay. Yeah, $89.40 compared to last year.
It was $596.01, and it's going to go up to $685.41 per year.
Yeah, and that's $89.40 up from last year.
Per year.
Yeah, per year.
Really, when you think about 89 going up per year for the amenity fees, that's like nickels and dime stuff, really.
Yeah.
But at the same time, put all this together with what you hear me read on the news, or what maybe you're reading on the news about people complaining about outsiders using our amenities and everything. They're not paying any amenity fees. And they're not paying maintenance fees for all this. And this is what's getting them upset. They keep raising it and everything, and we're paying it. And so people are starting to notice stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Barbara says there's a house in there now for sale for $4.45 million. Oh yeah, we're a big deal now.
Oh, yeah, they got $1 million houses here.
Yeah, Yeah,
Most of
it's,
the neighborhoods, most of them, not all, if it's a Bridgeport neighborhood, those are $1 million neighborhoods.
yeah. Now in the southern section, I'm not sure which,
The preserve.
that's not the southern section. I'm talking south of 44.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know where their line comes in at, but
I'd like to have one over there to preserve. I really would.
Vic says fixed costs should only include bond, property tax, amenity fees, house insurance, utilities, and landscaping. Yes, and I would think that's that's what you needed just to have the house sit here. But like I don't know what they were including, so that might be a little bit different.
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, to be fair to the ones that said 3,000, it's a hard question to answer because you don't really know how to answer it because I don't know what the person's looking for an answer. When they say, "How much does it cost to live there?" It's just a wide open question.
And John Keller says that one for sale, 2850 square feet, 6-car garage, water view, 4.5 million. Yeah, and you really and 2850 from where we come from, that's not a lot. Now the 6-car garage, yeah, that's something.
Ooh, I'd love to have a 6-car garage.
But we had pole barn.
I'd be happy with a car garage.
But yeah, like I said, it's what you think is important.
William says his wife gets the wine flu every night.
I understand, William.
Did she go? Did she go to the wine tasting thing?
Not that I know of, no. I didn't see her.
We all got together.
Yeah, like I said, I seen Linda, Judy, and Jose was at our table, and then there was 2 more tables.
You know Jose, he's like a girl. He goes with all the girls.
Yeah, well, he had a good time. And then he's not a big, I don't think he's a big wine drinker either, but. Yeah, William says homestead exemption knocks off 50,000. That's true. They said,
that's a good question because I know in Indiana had a lot of exemptions for people for their property. And my dad, he had so many exemptions on his property where he lived. His property taxes was like $250 a year, and he lived in a nice house. He did not live in a rundown. He lived in a 3-bedroom brick ranch home, which is what most Indiana people have. And but he had like military discount, disability discount, I think, over age 70 discount. It just went a low income discount because he was retired, so your income's a little bit less.
And we get some of those here. We don't get all of those, but we get some of those here.
We what?
We get some of those.
I don't know what we get here. I just know what Dad got there. And I didn't really know that until we had an argument with the tax guy. He had sent me a bill, so we owed him $9,000. And I called him up, and I thought, well, this is just a clerical error. And he started, because Dad had Alzheimer's and things, and we were having his bill sent down here because we paid him for him. He couldn't pay him. And he said that Dad lived in Florida. He didn't live there. I said, no, he lives up there, but we pay his bills down here. And he told me right on the phone, he says, I don't believe you. He said, I think you're trying to cheat the system. Well, we had to go out to Indiana. And we had this argument with this guy for not every day, but like, I'll say 2 weeks anyway, until finally we got it straightened out. We had to prove it that Dad was home, but we got it straightened out.
Yeah, well, and Kelly B says that, yeah, you guys are here, I'm working, but I have a break to watch. Well, nice way to spend your breaks. Listen to us yak.
So those 10,000 homes are now paying $25K to $45K in bonds to pay for the house. Well, no, that's not for, well, it's really not for the amenities. The bonds is set up to put in the infrastructure, water lines, sewer lines, electric, and all that kind of roads that comes
you're paying for stuff that's already there when you buy.
Yeah, the amenities, they'll put in the stuff maybe with the bonds. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they may put in like swimming pools, they may put that stuff in. But then you got to pay a maintenance fee. Everybody in the villages, not just you in that neighborhood, pays the amenity fees to cover everything here. And that's what gives you the right as a resident to be able to go anywhere you want in the villages and use any amenities you want. It ain't their neighborhood pool. It's all of our neighborhood pools, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And Laura Garris says there's a chart of estimated expenses. I cannot add it here, but we did get it last month. We hope to be in Newell by 9:30. We'll be spending less a month in Florida than in Connecticut. Yeah, I thought that they give you an estimate of that kind of thing when you buy a house. And I believe it's on districtgov.org. I don't know where on that site to look for it, but I believe they do have an estimate on there.
I just say that, and their estimate's probably close. Just look and see what they're adding on that estimate.
Yeah.
And then use your own judgment there.
Yeah. But welcome, Laura.
But listen, one thing that all of us old duffers know, there's always a way to save money in your life. Every one of you, including us, there's a way of saving money that you get comfortable in what you do here, and then you just don't pay attention. How many of you snowbirds goes back up north and leaves your water sprinklers on? And we have rain every day during the rainy season, and we go out here in the middle of a rainstorm, and we see water spraying in people's yards or watering their grass. Well, they don't have a home watch. Home watch people would probably shut that off. You don't need it. That would save you money on your water bill. Water bills here can be significant when it comes to watering your grass. You hear them argue all the time. And then the other one would be electric, be my guess. I'm a night person. I can't tell you how many times I came outside in our neighborhood, coming home from working on the camper late at night, stuff like that. And at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, I see garage lights on. There ain't nobody in that garage at 1 o'clock in the morning here. This is a retired people. People are early to bed, early to rise around here. So there's a light burning all night long. I'll tell you another one. People, they have bushes and trees and things that grows around your yard light out front. There's an electric eye on there that tells it when it gets dark, it turns that light on. If that gets shaded, that light can stay on 24/7. And I've seen them around here stay on 24/7 because there's a tree or something they planted right there. That's a more waste of money.
He's always cutting my flowers off because they get on,
Yeah,
get on the line.
I went out there yesterday and cut that thing off because I noticed that here I am at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, here anyway, the sun's still out and my porch light's on. So I whacked it off.
Yeah.
Next thing I'll dig it out.
Oh, well, John, what's hold up? Come on down. He says, yeah, I want to go to Florida.
We're still here.
Yeah, we're still here.
During the, what they call it, when the ice melts up north, they say that, we've heard these down here, they say that the oceans are going to rise so high that the state of Florida is going to disappear. Well, there's a guy that's got a YouTube channel. He's a financial expert. And he has a trucker mouth. Maybe that's why I can relate to the guy. He said, if any of you people are swallowing this crap about that up there, he said, let me ask you a question. Is there any banks in Florida requiring you to get flood insurance on any home, even a coastal home down there before they finance that home? The answer is no. Is there anybody in Florida down there saying we won't finance that home because in the next 10 years, Florida's going to be underwater and you know you're not going to pay the mortgage on that house? No. He said, every bank will finance every home down there. He says, so what they're telling you about them icebergs up there floating and the world's going to flood, he says, crap. I like the guy.
We've been places where they made you have flood insurance.
He's talking about Florida. Right here, they're talking about the Florida's going to be underwater, Miami's going to be gone, and then he comes up with this thing of that the banks get their money by investing in here and doing this over there. He said, you think any investor would take their money and finance your $1 million house if they knew this was going to happen? Because they don't know it's going to happen. I'm not saying it ain't going to happen. They just don't know it's going to happen. But these people on the people that's going to sell you stuff, they're using scare tactics. Indiana did it. And I think they finally passed a law to stop the commercials up there. Well, what they do is that the people are selling these home burglar systems on your front door and all. And then the commercial would show somebody dressed in black with a hood over his face, banging through the door, and it shows a little 3-year-old girl standing there, scared to death, and mommy back there in the back, and they're saying, if you had ADI or whatever it was they were trying to sell, you wouldn't have this problem. And then they show the next one where he tries to break in, the alarms go off, and he runs away. That's not real life.
Yeah. Oh, and Barbara, yes, I do like Moscato. That's the only wine that I drink truly, because I don't like a real strong alcohol taste, and the dry wines have that for some reason. It has a real strong alcohol taste to me, and if you don't like it, don't drink it. So like I said, I like the Moscato though. It's a little bit milder. That Mogan David, I don't know if I go that far, but Skip has some stuff that he drinks that he likes. It's called Electra.
It's just like a Moscato, just a little bit sweeter.
It's not a little bit sweet. It's a lot sweeter.
Yeah,
it's like syrup.
It's almost the whites. The red ain't bad. It's the white. It's the white's like way too sweet, and we still got it. I'll get rid of it. It's just a matter of time.
He's doing it one bottle at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, Phil knows how to.
Rizzo says, just put in the numbers in a calculator, and we pay with no mortgage about $1,075 a month to sit here.
Yeah.
See, now we're getting down to what I think sounds believable.
Yeah.
$3,000 a month just for your house to sit here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call him a liar. I'm just simply saying there's things added in there that,
Oh, John Tamalonis. I love that picture of Skip and Sue on their motorcycle from years ago on Facebook. Yeah, that was a few years ago, and we loved that bike. And then if we'd have brought it down here, we'd have had to put it in storage. And truthfully, riding motorcycles down here is a little bit dangerous.
I could have gotten in the garage.
Well, yeah, you could have gotten in the garage, but like I said, it's awful dangerous down here.
I decided not to bring it down here because we had that part-time house over there, and we were getting ready to come down here, and I sold the Corvette. I didn't have no room for this stuff. And the motorcycle was something I kept thinking about. Because I really wanted to bring it down here. But a few times we came down here and I spent vacation down here, I was watching these crazy people in roundabouts and stuff. And I thought, man, these are village idiots around here. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I thought, I just can't see me riding this thing around here with these people. They can't see another car. How are they going to see me on two wheels?
Yeah. It was very dangerous. Oh, and John, have a look at that picture again. I said, look, and the dog is with us. I said, I had a blanket wrapped around my waist, and the dog was tucked in the blanket.
That's where she liked to stay.
That's where she liked to stay.
We had a carrier for her, but she got nervous in that carrier. She didn't like it.
No.
So we found out, I don't know what you call it. You know how you can carry a baby and you wrap it kind of like around you, and then the baby like lays here? It was kind of like that if you look in the picture, and then Sue had her coat, and she would and then zip the coat up over the dog. And so she was always snuggling, and she'd fall asleep right there.
You could just barely see her head in that picture, I think. And we traveled all over the country on that bike. We really liked it. I miss it.
Tammy Ferguson says, hey. Well, actually, she said, good afternoon.
Laura, let's play. Does the hose water leave spots on your car after you wash it? Why, I've never washed it here in the driveway. I always go to the car wash because I have
you get a card.
It's a thing that they put on your window, sticker you put on the window.
But you pay for it, right?
Yeah.
How much is it a year?
It depends on what kind of wash you want. For the regular, it's $22 a month.
A month?
And it's as many car washes as you want.
You go in there as much as you want.
Yeah, and with the rain that we've had, I've been a couple times a week actually been in there. but yeah, I don't wash the car here at home, and I imagine it probably would leave spots.
And that's a no-touch, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I don't like the ones where they use brushes and stuff.
It's the one up on 466A. I think it's Sweetwater or something like that. But yeah, it's very, very good.
Over here?
Over here where?
I don't know. Next to Home Depot. Not Home Depot. Lowe's and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nice. I think it's called Sweetwater. But, hello from Milwaukee. Well, hello, Milwaukee.
Ron Bass has a great video on contractors. So, Ron, seriously, I am so disappointed in that video. It's just unbelievable that people was always asking about contractors. Who do you use for this? Who do you use for that? And I just thought, there's a top 10 between all 5 of us. We all use different contractors for different things. I thought that'd be a good video, and I'm thinking, that'll get quite a few views. Here I am, 3 days later, and it hasn't even hit 2,000 views yet. Nobody's watching them. So it's very possible. I got 3 more top 10s, and it's very possible because the views on them has dropped so far off that after these 3, there may not be any more.
Yeah. But Stephen, yeah, I don't know about the homeowners insurance yet. It'll be, like I said, be this month or next month before I get anything about that. So.
Hey, but Ron, let me ask you while you're on here. Our hospital got a 1-star rating. This ain't the first time this has happened. And I'm getting questions like, I'm supposed to know something about this, and I know nothing about it. Uh, why are they getting a 1-star rating? And people leave comments that seem like they know what they're talking about, saying, well, this company, they rate them for this or that, and I don't know anything about it. If you know anything about that, let me know. And what I want to do, if you want to do it, I'm going to bring you on my system, and you can explain how this rating thing works and why we would even get a 1-star rating as opposed to say, I don't even what's the high 5-star, whatever it is. And then I'll record it, I'll edit it so it makes sense, and then I'm going to post it on the YouTube channel so other people can see how we ended up with a 1-star rating. If you want to do that, if you know how to do it, if you know how they do the 1-star rating, that's what I'm talking about. I don't have no idea how that works.
And from what I understand, it came in before UF Health took over, and it's just taking a while to get straightened out because it's mainly the emergency room that was the problem.
Emergency room there has always been a problem.
Yeah, but everywhere in Florida in the wintertime, it's a problem because the population increases so much, and they can't keep enough doctors to keep up with it. But like I said, that's what most of the complaint. I read all the reviews on all the sites, and this is what most people said. Mainly the emergency room, such long waits and that kind of thing. But I've heard a lot of good things since then. Since UF Health took over, they're trying to straighten things around, trying to get more people, and the review of the inside the hospital itself is very good. So, but like the people that do this survey or whatever they did, and it got all the way to, I think it got to Medicare. And I said, and they're the ones that give them the one rating, in which that's not good. But hopefully, like I said, it'll take a couple of years to turn around. And UF Health is it's been a good hospital down here. And so we're hoping they do the turnaround here. And I don't know if that's the drawback on building the new hospital or not. But, it might have something to do with it, truthfully.
Who's going to own the new hospital?
That'll be UF Health also.
So the same people who got a 1-star rating there is going to end up with a new hospital down there?
It was a 1-star when they bought it. So, like I said, they're improving it now.
How do you know they're improving it?
Everything I've read. And like I said, I read everything.
Who posted all that stuff that you read?
Like I said, I read everything. You know that.
I don't trust any of this.
Well,
he said, she said, he said, she said. I heard from a guy.
I heard Big Mike on the radio this morning.
Who?
Big Mike.
Big Mike.
It's on the Village's radio.
Who's Big? Oh, yeah. Well, I believe everything on that.
Well, no, but like I said, the morning team there, the breakfast team there, one of them had to go to the hospital over the weekend, and he said he was treated very well.
Yeah.
Because, they know what the rating was.
Yeah. And I'm sure the developer made sure that, hey, don't say anything negative that's going to cost me a sale of a home either.
I know those people probably would not said anything, period, if it was bad. They wouldn't have, but like I said, he said he had excellent care.
He wanted to interview him about the building down here, and he wouldn't talk to him. So I remember all that.
Well, Brickyard says, what was your look back in biker days?
What?
What was your look back in biker days?
My look?
Look back.
Look back?
Yeah, look back in biker days. Did you still wear your Hawaiian shirts?
Well, Sue will tell you, I was pretty big on safety. We had motorcycle boots that went above the ankle. There's a reason why it goes above the ankle. We generally wore long pants, generally blue jeans, because that's about as tough as you can get. Sometimes underneath the blue jeans, I might have padded knee stuff. Thinking when you hit the ground. I mean, that's what I'm always thinking about. Somebody that pulls in front of me, and I got to put the bike down. First thing it's going to hit, because I'll go down on the right. I just know me. I'll go down right. Shoulder, elbow, knee, hip, and so, yeah. And then I also had things installed on the bike. I don't know what they're really called. Roll bars, no, whatever they're called. So that when the bike did go down, the bike never would land on me or Sue. It kept the bike off the ground about that high. So that what we had to do, and we took the training for this, is when it goes down, you grab your stuff and you hang on. You stay with the bike. You don't kick away from the bike. That's a mistake. And you slide until it comes to an end. And when it comes to an end, then you address whatever might be wrong. You know, I lost a finger back there. It's laying in the road. I got to go back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we wore helmets. I never went anywhere without a helmet. And we didn't buy cheap helmets at Kmart. We bought high dollar stuff. We had intercom systems so she could talk to me all the time.
And that our jackets was the heavy denier nylon, and
yeah,
like I said, they were warmer than any leather I've ever had.
We had motorcycle gloves because when you hit the ground, your instinct is to help. So we had gloves for sliding, and on a 9-degree day, if you come to a halt, they were awful. You sit there and go, oh my God, I wish this light would turn green. But it's just like rain gear. I mean, we didn't buy cheap rain gear. We bought high dollar rain gear. So
we had frog tongues.
And that's about the best you can get because they breathe. You don't sweat in them. They fold up. Anyway, we were just big on safety a lot.
Wasn't big on getting hurt.
Yeah. I had a windshield. I want to say it. I can't remember the name of it. I've been out of it for so long now. I installed it myself. They're easy to install. But anyway, it was extra long. So it came up. The original motorcycle windshield's about right there. Your eyes are always just above the windshield. You can tuck behind it. That's the way you go down the road. So I got an extra tall that came up to here. And it folded back. And that's because when we rode in the rain, and we done it a lot, the rain would go up the windshield over my head and actually over Sue's head. It went up and over us.
I didn't get the wind, and like I said, it actually went over us.
Yeah, and actually, as long as we were moving down the road when it was raining, as hard as this may be to understand, we never got wet. Our shoes never got wet. Most of the time.
Yeah, and Jerry Bill says, why won't you let poor guy in the house to enjoy the AC? Poor guy. I went out there and told him because I thought, God, it's awful hot out there. We got air conditioning in here. And then he said, no, he was getting ready to go.
I was going to say, 15 times he was getting ready to go. And then we get to talking, and then he'd get ready to go. Yeah. And then he'd talk, well, I'm going to have to go. So that's how that happened.
Yeah.
His wife wasn't here when he was here the other day. I think she got here yesterday.
Oh, I don't have any idea.
I think she got here yesterday. She's here today for sure. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. They're just here.
Yeah. Vic says his insurance did go up, but not a lot. But what annoyed him is they raised the cost and dropped his coverage by $104,000. Progressive. Well, I've got Progressive. Well, actually, I had ASI, and I guess they were brought out by Progressive. So I'm still waiting to hear. And I keep thinking maybe I should up my insurance because the price of the houses went up, to rebuild. And that's what I wanted. I wanted enough insurance to rebuild if something would happen. And
by the way, speaking of rebuilding, I've been watching the news about Hawaii out there. The whole island's gone. I can't hardly believe that. The Maui, the island is gone.
Behind it, yeah.
So far, it's 100 people they found dead so far. They're really expecting more. Here's the thing. I talk about people that are disgusting, have no morals whatsoever, and companies are the same way. People are talking about how they're getting bombarded with phone calls from companies wanting to buy their property now for like nickels on the dollar because there's nothing there.
Yeah. Isn't that all? And some people are desperate enough they're going to do it.
No, most of the islander people are saying, no, that's their community, and they intend to rebuild somehow, some way.
And then the governor said they were going to try to stop it. I don't know how they can, but yeah, that's pretty disgusting, really.
Disgusting.
Take advantage of people like that.
Wish I had a list of those names of those companies because I'd never do business with them. One of Walmart's trying to build a Walmart store there.
I don't know.
Speaking of Walmart, I read something about Walmart the other day. I don't remember what it was. Something about Walmart the other day. It's getting ready to make some major changes.
Well, they've already made a lot with going to that self-checkout. It makes me so mad I can just scream. And that's where everybody's going. It's not like it's going to be them Lowe's is doing that. Home Depot is doing. Everybody's going to go to that. Eventually, it's going to be self-checkout, whether you like it or not.
Well, you know, I can kind of, now that life's going on, I can kind of understand why they're doing it. It's because of all these rampant people running in there and stealing crap and running out the door.
Yeah.
So I think that was it. Walmart is fixing to change. There was a big percentage, like 50% of their stores are going to be closed nationwide, and they're going to go to online. You can do it online, go to the store, out back, wherever. They'll bring it out to you, put it in the cart, and leave. And they're thinking that. I think they're going to do that in the major cities like Chicago and San Francisco and places where they're having this rampant stealing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They think that's a way of stopping a lot of it. And what else are you going to do? I can't imagine going to a store and if you want to buy something, you got to ask somebody to come and unlock the door and stuff to be able to get your stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. But I the few times that I've used the self-checkout, and I did do one at Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't remember exactly which one it was. But then the machine messed up, and there's a line behind me of people waiting, and there's nobody to come and help me with the machine. And I was so disgusted. I bet you would.
I know how to do it.
Well, I didn't realize when I come in through the garden center entrance, and they had a person back there. So I picked my stuff up and I took everything back to the garden center and went through that checkout. But if they've got enough people there, it might not be a problem, and it might be faster.
Let me tell you, when you're young, your whole life, all you keep looking at is how the old people get by with being stupid. Well, if they drive really dumb, well, they're old. Well, he goes out the end door over there. Well, he's old. Everybody lets the old people get by with stuff, and I remember that. So when I go to the store and they got self-checkout and tell me I have to do it, I have all kinds of problems, all kinds, banging on stuff, and this ain't working, what's going on here? I can't get this thing to work. Yeah. Next thing you know, they'll come over and do it for you.
Yeah, that's why I don't shop with him. It's embarrassing sometimes. But yeah, it was an honest mistake. The machine messed up and I couldn't get any farther with it. And I had to have somebody come set it back to neutral, and there was nobody there. And so I just picked my stuff up and went to the back. But fortunately, I knew that back there had a person.
Or Joy said, did Sue ever learn to ride? She can't ride a heavy bike like that. They're like 700 pounds. She ain't got the muscles to hold that up. And that don't include the weight of, we got in compartments on the bike, or me, my big fat ass sitting behind her on the bike. No, she couldn't do that. I had a hard enough time learning how to do all this with her on the bike. And I actually took classes. There's certain things you need to know about riding on a big bike that I was unaware of. But we took classes during a wing ding, and we picked up a pointer or two. We didn't learn everything, but we picked up a good pointer or two. Like, if you want to turn right, I was struggling turning right. This is going to sound dumb to people who don't ride, but you lean and you want to turn the handlebar to the right and turn right. And then I found out that's wrong. If you want to turn right, you take the right handlebar and you push it like you want to go left. Because I don't know what that does. All I know is when you barely push it, you're going right. And boy, I'll tell you what, that made riding in town so much easier.
Yeah. So it helps to learn something.
Well, yeah, and then we did the obstacle course, remember, with you on the bike? Mm-hmm. And you have to do a 90-degree kind of thing, and that's...
And they taught me what to do in case he has a heart attack and he's driving?
Yeah, they teach you all that, too. What happens if it was funny, the old people that was teaching us, they were funny. He took two chairs, he set one down, and he set one right behind there, and his wife sat in the chair behind him, and he sat in the front chair, and they're pretending like they're on the motorcycle. And she's saying, now, what if he has a heart attack? Says he's old, he's ate too many hamburgers in his lifetime, and he doesn't pay attention to what he's doing. Now all of a sudden he passes out, and he has a heart attack. And then she was showing what does the passenger do to stop the bike safely if your driver passes out for some reason, heart attack or whatever the case may be. And all that was good information to have.
Yeah, it was. House rental solution, minimum 30 days. That comes from Gussie Bush.
What's that?
And the house rental solution would be minimum 30 days.
House resolution? What'd you say?
A solution.
For what?
To the house rental thing. having a minimum 30 days.
I've made a few phone calls. One of them was on top of the world. That's because if I have to go somewhere else, that's going to be probably one of the first places I'm going to go look is up there because they got a good hospital just down the road. And up there, you can rent a house out minimum 6 months. Minimum. That stops Airbnbs right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cindy says on top of the world now 6 months or more rentals. No weekly.
Who said that?
Cindy.
Oh.
That's where she lives.
Is that the lady we're supposed to go up there and meet them and we haven't never got there yet?
I think so. I know it was a Cindy something. We have a lot of Cindys, so.
Well, one of them that lives up there, she sent me a thing twice saying, hey, come on up. And I sent her, talked to her last time. I said, well, I'm gonna do that thing within the next week or two. I'm gonna bring a camera up, we'll go out to dinner, you show us around, blah, blah, blah. And she said, that'd be great. And I still haven't got there.
Oh my gosh.
I know it. I'm terrible about that.
Yeah. Is your mic on? Laura wants to know if your mic's on.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. I wish somebody would have said something earlier.
Oh, well. Don't you have that other one on?
Yeah, but I'm recording. This mic here is recording on that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So now that should be better, right? You can hear me a little better.
Thank you, Vic.
Renee Gonzalez says he rides a bagger. It's almost 1,200 pounds. Man, you must have a lot of stuff on that bike.
Sandy S. says, I've been a subscriber for a few months, but first time commenting. I enjoy watching you guys. Skip makes me laugh. He makes me laugh most of the time, too. Because I wonder what the hell he's talking about most of the time.
That's all right. She don't have to know what I'm talking about. Here's what I tell all the WNL crew. I said, here's your job. Make me look great. That's it.
God, I tried, but you know. Kathy Miller says, rum or vodka for my beer or wine of the day, please.
Well, if I was going to drink wine, I'm a cheap date. I like Barefoot. You get like $7, $8, $9 a bottle. I like Moscato, and I like the red Moscato. If I have my choice, I can drink Barefoot's white. It's not so bad, but the red to me is much better.
Right. And I do the white. So.
Well, they got a pink too.
Usual.
They got a pink. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
The pink's not too bad.
Kathy Wood says our monthly cost is around $11.20. We have no bond or house payment. Switched to State Farm for house insurance. It was cheaper for us.
Yeah.
Well, Kathy, we had State Farm for everything up north, but when we moved down here, State Farm didn't insure houses. Only in the last 3 or 4 years have they insured houses here. And so I was being treated right by the company I had, so I wasn't messing with it. I just left it with them. Our car and everything is still with them because we've had it so long, we get so many discounts that nobody else can beat their price. So yeah, we stay with them for the car, but like I said, the house was a little bit different. You know.
Why, disaster reminds me of Hurricane Andrew, Williams says. If Hurricane Andrew is the one that I'm thinking of. That's the one that chased me and Sue out of Florida once. Was that Hurricane Andrew?
No,
and the hotel said that if you're going to leave, you got to leave by a certain time or they're going to shut the highways down.
Yeah, I believe so.
And we started hauling ass thinking, well, we'll go to Nashville for a while. I was on vacation.
It was the first time I think that we ever knew that Disney closed. Because always before that, they never did.
Well, I'm not sure about all that because I don't remember back that far, but I just know that we stopped for gas once and a hurricane caught up with us. And the water was just running like a river through this parking lot. Got the gas, jumped in the car, and I said, let's go. And we hauled ass. I don't even remember how far we had to go before we started getting to an area where it wasn't raining so hard. It was still raining, but not as hard as it was. I think that was Hurricane Andrew, but I won't swear to that. Yeah, my grandpa was in Miami one year visiting his sister. A hurricane came through. And this is back in the day, probably when I didn't have the hurricane information that they got today, you know, like the news, the weather reports and all that. And he lost a car. It's funny. He said he had it parked somewhere, wherever she lived. She lived in a condo or something. He had it parked in a parking lot or something. He said he kept looking out the window, and he decided he didn't like where it was parked, so he moved it. And then when the hurricane was over, there was a telephone pole or a tree or something that fell on his car. And he says when he looked on the other side where he had it parked originally, there was nothing there. He said, I'd been better off just leaving it where it was at.
JC says, Sue, did you ever ride on the road when Skip was driving his big rig? Yeah, we had a trucking company for a while. And I said, so every once in a while, I said I would go with him. And I said it wasn't, I worked too, so it wasn't that easy to do most of the time. But I remember when we took the first trip to Florida, and we had a load going to Miami. And when we got there,
Magic Chef refrigerators.
When we got there, they were having riots. I don't know if you remember back that far, but they were having riots, and we never got out of there. Like I said, it was scary. It really
was. The guy who we get to the place where I'm supposed to unload, and there was a guy locking up a fence. There was a fence went all the way around this property. And I got out and I said, hey, what's going on? He said, they're having a riot at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, they knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, find out what year it is. Probably Google it. This is back when, if I remember right, there was a police officer there that shot and killed a Cuban exile. This is back that far. And they were going to riot because of it. And I said, well, I got these refrigerators in here supposed to be delivered today. And he goes, man, I just can't do it. I got to be home. I got to be out of here. I said, well, what am I going to do with these refrigerators? We had this argument. Finally, he said, well, back in here and I'll get you off real quick. But then you got to get out of here. I said, okay. So he did. He got me off real quick. And then I asked him, I said, how do I get out of here? He said, get up there, you turn right and just keep going. Just keep going until you get out of here.
Right.
We did. We went up there and turned right, and you could see things on fire down the road.
Yeah.
And I will say, as much crap that was going on, not one person threw anything at me.
No.
Nobody.
But they had blasted a big hole in the highway, and we had an empty trailer that we were pulling. And I said we had to go through that hole to get on down the highway. And I said, and you could feel the truck doing this as we went through that hole. I wasn't sure we was going to make it.
Oh, it was kind of nerve wracking.
Haven't been back to Miami since.
No, that just kind of that was. Ooh.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Then we took another trip. We were going somewhere, Orlando or someplace with our load, Tampa, and that's when we came down with Wink and Chuck. Chuck was a driver of mine, driving one of my other trucks, and Wink was actually my dispatcher. And we were all coming down here, and her brother took a transfer for General Motors and went to work at a new General Motors factory that they opened in Albany, Georgia. So we stopped by his house. And his wife was a Southern lady, lived in Georgia her whole life, I guess. I swear to God, that's all this lady did from the time she got out of bed till the time she went to bed. She was in the kitchen cooking stuff.
Yeah, and the food was wonderful. I mean, it all tasted great.
She had, I don't even know what all she had. Food everywhere.
Yeah.
And I remember her dad, I think it was her dad, he was sitting on the back porch. Everybody up there's got pecan trees in their yard. He was had a bag. And he was shelling pecans and putting them in this other bag. And he was shelling them because she wanted to make a pecan pie. Mm-hmm. That's what he was shelling these pecans for. I'm sitting down there talking to him. We're just talking about, I don't even know what, just whatever. And I asked him, what are we making all these pecans for? What are you going to do with them? He goes, well, he said, if you quit eating them, she's going to make us a pie.
Yeah, Laura, I hope the guys answered all your questions. Yeah, we go with Nova Filter. We love them, and I said we've had a lot of people ask us, and we've always told them, that they've always done a good job. They not only do just filters, which we just got the filter system, but they also do the whole house filter system if that's what you want. But we've not needed the whole house system since we got the filters. They've always been very good. Yeah.
Laura, Let's Play says, does anyone know if out-of-state motorcycle license would transfer over to Florida? Mine did. I had Indiana. The only thing I gave up was my CDL for driving a semi-truck. But the motorcycle endorsement that I had, they transfer right over to my Florida driver's license. I've still got it. I don't have the bike anymore, but I still got it. And I'm probably going to keep it because I don't want to be retested on that stuff anymore. But yeah, mine did.
Yeah. Well, Rizza says that house, the 4.5 million is in Conservation Trail in the preserve.
Or preserve.
Yeah, and
So
we
that's a
love
nice
that area
over there.
Yeah, it's really nice.
One of the only areas, as far as I know, unless there's been a custom home, and I know there's been at least one of these homes built up in Silver Lake area. The guy bought like 2 of those properties with the modular homes on them.
Mm-hmm.
He had them pulled out, and then he built a new home there. You can do that up there. You got to get the home approved, but you can do that. But over in Preserve, it's not unusual to find homes there that's got RV garages attached to the house.
Yeah,
I would love to have that.
that'd be nice. Yeah. Ron Pass has a great video on the contractors. Yeah, we thought so, and there's we only had 10. That's the whole idea is 10, and we only had 10 that we could give. Although I could tell you a lot more contractors that we've used that I really like. But like I said, we each had 2 that we had to pick, and I said they were all outstanding. I thought. I said I'd agree with just about every one of them. Now the guy that did Jose's sprinkler system, and I didn't know anything about him, but I since have heard that somebody had heard him say that, and they called him, and they were having their system done too for the same guy.
Yeah, whatever contractors that all these guys used, I don't know who most of them was. I can only talk about the ones that I know I've used that I liked for what I do. Sue knows the ones that she used that she liked. And I just thought between all of us living in different areas of the villages that you could get a good flavor of different people that we've used and phone numbers. So you can call them.
Yeah. Oh, Jane, you like my nail color? I did have that metallic blue, which was a pretty color. It wasn't necessarily my color, but it was a pretty color. I said, I'm due to get them redone, and I'm not sure what color to go with.
Great. So see, Mr. Skip and Miss Sue, you don't have to call me Mr. A guy used to work on, he did that to the boss. He goes, hey, Mister. From the Virginia, Tennessee line. Are you Appalachia area right there? I know that along that line up there, there used to be a lot of Appalachian coal mining towns. I used to deliver up there years ago in my semi-truck. And I got to know them people really well. Hard-working people. They really are. Had a hard life from what I could see.
Laura Lesplay says, do they have any house plans with high ceilings in the garages? Her husband is a car guy and would like to put a lift in one to store one over another and make it easier to clean under, etc.
Well, if you do, you're going to have the ceiling somehow taken out of the garage.
That's what she asked, if they had any with high ceilings.
Not as far as I know. Well, them RV places down there must have a high ceiling because they get them big buses in there. I mean, they get big buses in them things down there.
Yeah.
But
I would call the real estate people, because they can tell you, because some of the places each district is a little bit different. Sometimes there was only spec homes here when we bought, but at south of 44, there's some places that they're letting them build their own home. I mean, pick out what they want in their own home. And so you might call them and see if you could have one built like that. I don't know if they do that or not, but it's a possibility.
I'm thinking in a custom home, if you really think about the construction of a home and what the garage actually is, I don't really see where it'd be such a big deal to just, when they build the house, not to put any trusses across the garage. Mm-hmm. And just make it like a cathedral ceiling right there to have enough room to raise the car up in the air. Yeah. But you have to get that approved but I don't see why you couldn't.
But like I think when Vic told us that they weren't doing any more custom
inside the house. We're talking about a garage.
Oh, okay.
That's a non-livable space. Yeah. So
ask them and see.
Yeah, I'd ask. I just simply ask because I don't really have the right answer for you.
Yeah, and Vic says they're hitting the 1 year mark in their house and things are starting to need attention. Fortunately, we had D'Angelo do our inspection for warranty. Why, I don't know D'Angelo, but I've seen your house. So hopefully, like I said, he does a good job.
See, I get lost in some of these conversations, and then I read it and I go, I wonder what that meant. Sherry Campbell says, I prefer a person checking me out. And I know this is probably answering somebody that, that'll make total sense. But to me, I'm reading that going, I prefer a person to check me out. I'll check you out.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jerry's right, Laura, that you can't get the RV garages, but they're in the seven figures. So, if
Big
you got
money.
that kind of money to spend,
Yeah.
But
If I had the money, I would have one. Well, not today. There's none for sale over there. But when they were new, we did a tour of the neighborhood. I have video of that whole area over there. And yeah, I would have had one back then if I could.
Oh, and thank you, Jerry. He just put up the cost of living, the site where you can go to see the estimate for the cost of living.
From the villages?
Yeah.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah.
But there's ways you can save money. And I'm always talking about that when people say, oh, well, that's out of my price range, because there are some people, and you know who you are, if it ain't brand new, you don't want it. And sometimes, though, if you're on the budget line, buying a pre-owned home is the way to go. Even though the home may cost you a little more being pre-owned over new, that pre-owned home may not have a $40,000 bond on it. That's significant.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, in a lot of the pre-owned homes, they did so much to them. People have lived there for a few years, and they've enclosed the lanai, they've changed the flooring, they've put in new appliances, that kind of thing. So a lot of times it's a plus. In some places, they put new roofs on them.
Sometimes you buy a house that's got all brand new upgraded appliances in the kitchen. All new.
In case our goes up for sale. Yeah. Hey, Mark Sears, he just tuned in from Michigan. Okay.
Mary has been my second home since 1974. Lost probably some friends. Yeah, it's devastating. I mean, I saw a while ago. I've been watching it for a few days now. They got the cadaver dogs out. They're interviewing the local people, not just tourists, the local people. And they had a helicopter shot. And it's just amazing to me that Maui basically is gone. I don't think there's hardly anything.
It's just in one town, Lahaina. It's in Maui.
They were showing hotels and everything gone. I'm sure maybe a part of it may be okay. I don't know, but now they're investigating. They're saying down power lines they think may have caused this fire, and people have been complaining about these power lines for a long time. Now they're questioning the electric company. Why hasn't something been done? There's another guy questioning our FEMA. Nobody has showed up to help. There's no water, no medicine, nothing getting through. And people on the island now are volunteering, taking, what do you call them, motorcycles on water, skidoos and things like that, to get medicine stuff over to those people. Bread, water, they don't have anything. And I look at this going, we give away billions of dollars every year to foreign countries to help them out, feed the kids, all this and that. And I don't care about all that. And here we have American people over here that need this help. Where are we at? Where in the hell is everybody?
Okay.
I'll get off that rant.
Yeah. Oh.
Why does Judy and them keep sending me stuff?
You're on the yeah. You're on the same list. It's a group text. Because I get it too. Yeah, Vic says we had.
Oh, that's cool. Linda says that Jose looks like a little Puerto Rican Michelin man.
Yeah, we were discussing how big he used to be a big guy, and he's lost a lot of weight.
But when you get old, you start to shrink.
Well,
I don't know if I can show this on there or not. Let me see if I can. Let me turn it this way. That ain't going to work either. I don't think. No. I don't know if they can see that or not. I can't get out of this chair.
Oh.
Is that very clear? Can you see it on your phone?
Yeah, that one's the wine tasting.
Is it clear? But on here, it looks cloudy.
I think it's clear, but it's got a glare on that glass. Laura wants to know, is there a concealed weapon restriction, or do they allow open carry in public areas?
The new law started July 1st on concealed carry. You need no permit in the state of Florida. If you're a resident of Florida, that probably means you got to have a driver's license. And you don't need a permit to have a concealed carry. Open carry, I think, still requires a permit, but there is no restriction except private businesses. They have the right, like a restaurant, Walmart, any private business has the right to have a sign on the door or whatever saying we do not allow weapons in our business, and you have to adhere to it. I got no problem with it myself. Of course, I don't carry.
Yeah. Karen, no.
I believe in a baseball bat.
Got our own Karen. Yeah. Ironically, the politicians keep buying waterfront property. It says, ironically, the politicians keep buying waterfront property. Yeah.
Why are politicians buying waterfront property? How do you know politicians are buying waterfront property? Am I missing something?
Well, yeah, kind of, but that's okay. Move on. John Keller says, that like a climate guy buying a house on the beach on Martha's Vineyard?
A climate guy? I don't even know who that is. You guys are talking over my head. I swear to God. A climate guy.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Phil says the Electra is a Moscato. And I know that, Phil, but it's very sweet.
Very sweet.
Compared to the
white
other.
Yeah.
But compared to the Barefoot, the cheap stuff that we drink. So, but he likes it.
Oh, I drink it.
Yeah.
I just can't drink a lot of it.
Oh, Emilio J.
Gringo says there's literally tons of food, water stored at Pearl Harbor on Oahu. Zippo coordination.
Yeah, they've got to get this stuff to them.
Zippo coordination. I don't know what that is. Zippo. You guys are always talking over my head.
Emilio J. says, you guys are the best. See you in January. Drinks on me.
Okay.
We'll see you, Emilio. Yeah. Ringo Locus says, Boone's Farm, Annie Green Springs. Now that's why. I had a lot of the Annie Green Springs. Don't think I did many Boone's Farm. And Kyle Reed says, you guys are doing a great job. Well, thank you, Kyle.
I wouldn't say great.
Here yakking.
Yeah, I wouldn't say great.
Yeah, go back.
It's okay.
Yeah, go back and ask Karen.
Karen, who's Karen?
Let's see. Go back here.
Did somebody not like us?
So this is the most worthless thing ever. Don't know what you're
Now
talking
Gringo
about.
says none, nada, zero.
Zippo. Got it now? Zippo.
I guess I'm trying to figure out what Zippo has to do with having a bunch of food stored.
The coordination.
Oh, that's probably true because if it hasn't been for the local people just jumping in their buggies and everything else and just trying to get this stuff down there, I'm looking at this going, we have National Guard, we got the Army, we got Marines, we got all this stuff, and where are we at? Well, I don't get it.
Not there yet.
All it takes is the president saying, get your ass down there.
Yeah. Well,
they would want me to be president.
I understand they're on their way.
Well, we're coming.
Yeah.
We'll be there in a little bit.
Laura Leslie says, where are the nearest car dealerships like BMW, Honda, Ford?
Put the coffee pot on, mother. I'm coming home. Who said that?
Laura Leslie. Oh, that was
We bought a couch off that guy.
Yeah, I know.
Put the coffee pot on, mother. I'm coming home.
I got a coffee cup from them too. I can't remember what it was.
Jerry Bell says Zippo lighter. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a Zippo lighter.
Okay. Laura, there's I bought my car from the Chevrolet dealer right across from Brownwood. The Honda and Ford is in Leesburg. I think they're over there. I think there's a Kia, a Nissan, just about all of them on 421 there in Leesburg. So they're all pretty close.
What's pretty close?
Car dealers.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of car dealers around here. I just won't go to a lot of them because during COVID they were trying to screw people, and I don't appreciate that. I mean, I've been around this country, and I know if I want a new car, I do not have to buy one here at all. I can go back to Indiana to a couple of buddies that I know, and I can buy a car up there and come down here and transfer the title. I don't need this place. And so when I found out during COVID what Sue had told me about these so-called upcharges, I said, I'm not doing business with these people ever again.
But like I said, we bought 2 cars now off George Nahas across from Brownwood.
Well, at least he didn't try to screw us
They've
like he's...
always been honest with us, and I said that's why I appreciate that. I don't know much about cars. I went to look for a car, not with him. So I figure they always try to mess with you.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference if I go or not. What difference does it make if I go? It's going to be the wrong color. It's not going to have the right stuff on it. I guarantee you, if I pick a car out, six months from now, it's going to be how uncomfortable the seats are. So it's just get the car and let me know what you got.
Yeah, that would be you saying that. But like I said, they could tell me I needed purple wheels.
The only thing I complain about this car is I can never find a radio station. That's all you guys has ever heard me say. I said, the cars are getting to the point nowadays, I think there's too much crap on them. They're almost dangerous to drive. Look at poor Tommy down there. His car does weird stuff. He's got the updated Mercedes. It's got all kinds of stuff. Sometimes his car will do weird stuff, and I'll talk to him. I said, Tommy, how come your headlights are blinking? He goes, I don't know. I can't figure out how to shut it off. Because cars do. This car of ours will not open unless you have the key fob on you. I didn't know that. The fingerprint thing on the doorknob won't work unless you got the key fob with you. I didn't know that. So I leave the key fob in the car thinking, I'll just leave it in there. That way everything will work. Well, until you get out of the car and shut the door, then the car starts honking at you because you left the damn key fob in there.
Oh, my. Yeah, you're hopeless. Bear Creek Girl, hello, Porch Settin over in Atwood. It's pretty nice today.
Yeah, it's not bad today. It's still hot, though.
Yeah, it's still hot, but it's not that 98 and 100 degrees like it was. So It actually feels good, believe it or not, at 94.
I walked out to the front, thought about doing porch sitting out front like I know you guys like, but it just seemed too hot. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, it's not us. We could stand it for 2 hours. That's not a big deal. It's that thing right there. That iPad gets hot, it'll just shut off.
Yeah. Well, hi, Kim Sanders from Lynchburg, Tennessee. Yeah. What are you doing? I'm the one that's been in the wine.
Do you see this?
Bugs.
There's a little, like a gnat flying here.
Sure there is.
You didn't see it?
No.
Have I got a floater?
I don't know. Okay. Oh, Vicky Carney says, hi, Skip and Sue, 105 degrees in San Antonio today. Yeah, well, we got a little break, and like I said, because of, we got some rain coming, I think. There's a front that's kind of coming down from up north, and so it's going to cool it off a little bit for the next couple of days. But tomorrow and Friday, I think it's going to rain pretty much all day, from what they're saying.
See, the CERN the Bible says, he's watching it too. He says in Maui, the Coast Guard saved 14 people. Well, good. Stranded in the water, while the locals saved 88. I don't understand this. It's okay for the locals to help, but we should be out there with just stuff.
Yeah.
Send the Navy out there. They got a whole boatload of stuff.
Yeah. Now, see, there's a couple of people that love the top 10 videos. So, there's a couple of people that love the top 10 videos.
I know. I'm looking at the total view. I know 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. They like it. But I'm looking at the channel overall, and I should have 5 to 10,000 views, and it's not even 2. And if you go back to the very first one that we did, the top 10 things that we dislike about the villages, last time I checked, it had like 40,000 views. And it's been going downhill ever since, to the point now where I know it sounds like I'm being kind of a dick, and I'm not. I'm looking at the channel overall. This is a job for me, and I have to make X amount of dollars, or I'm just simply not going to do it.
You got to get out of your head is what you need to do.
And so anyway, at 1,200 views, 1,500 views, that equates to like $2.39.
Okay. So instead of the top 10, we need to go on to something else.
Well, I got 3 more top 10s,
Yeah.
and I'll keep an eye on it. But just like WNL, we did it for 3 years. I kept giving it a chance. We had better and better guests. We had a chief of police. We had Scooter, the DJ. We had really good guests on there. Yeah. And the views just never got any better.
Well,
up to the mechanic for 45 years, and I agree with you. There's too much crap on these cars. There is. But I will say, and I don't know how the mechanics do things. I don't. But it does look like to me, by watching them, that once you figure out with your computer that's got to plug into the damn thing what's wrong, it looks like to me that it's kind of easier to work on them. Am I wrong about this? If the radio goes bad, we don't fix the radios anymore. Just take it out, throw it away, slide a new one in, you're good to go. $1,200 later. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's the price.
Oh, William wants to know if we have any fans that's in Coleman prison.
I don't know because I don't think they're allowed to have cell phones in a Coleman prison.
Yeah.
So they can't text you. That's so they can't, get a hold of the bad people outside the prison.
Yeah. Haven't got any comments so far, so we don't know. Bear Creek Girl says her hubby is still not impressed. Well, I don't know what he does for a living. And I said, what might interest him or what have you here. But it's kind of hard, if you're thinking about moving from where you're at, it's kind of hard to think that you can find somewhere else that's got all the things here. It's just incredible the amount of stuff you can do here. Not that you have to do all of them. I don't. Skip doesn't. But like I said, it's the possibilities that you could have here. And some things I never even heard of. And I'm just getting to try them, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah, like how to pair your wine with cheese.
And they have cooking classes now at different places. And at Sawgrass Grove, they're having the cooking classes twice a week. Prima, I think, and Lopez Legacy, they have cooking classes. And I would, not that I want to cook, but I would really like to learn how to do some of these things because I know stuff in the restaurant tastes different than mine. And I'm here
to tell you that, like Olive Garden, you can go on YouTube and probably anywhere else, and you can say, I want to have the Olive Garden recipe for chicken, what is it I get, scallopini? Caprese? Scampi. And they'll have that Olive Garden recipe for chicken scampi. It's not the right recipe. It never is. It never will be. They always leave stuff out because that's their recipe, and they're not going to give it to you.
And that's what I love this stuff. When I eat out, I love the taste of stuff, and I don't know how to do that. So the cooking class is not a bad idea.
Now, I like Olive Garden chicken scampi, and I like their shrimp scampi. I really like the shrimp caprese, which they took it off the menu, and I like that other one. I don't know what it's called, like a seafood thing, had the clam shells in it. Whatever that was called. I used to get it all the time up in Indianapolis. And they took that off the menu, too.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they have to be able to sell it,
I'm thinking they may have took it off the menu because the price of seafood got so damn high. Look at Red Lobster now. Mm-hmm. Good Lord.
Yeah. Oh, and, for something to do, like I said, they're having a paint and sip in August. And it has bottomless wine and beer, hors d'oeuvres, world class instruction, new painting every week, every Tuesday. And I said, I took one of the paint and sip classes. Not much on the painting part because you've got a very limited time to do it. But the whole idea that it all takes in this, not only learning how to do a painting, but your hors d'oeuvres and all your drinks and everything. It's a nice night out, basically. And they're having another one August 17th. And I believe this is at Lopez. I'm not sure, but I think it's Lopez. And I said, that's one of those things that, get your girlfriends, go do the paint and sip, have some wine, just have a good night out.
Let your girl go to the painting class. You take your car, go down to the nearest outside bar and shoot the crap with the guy sitting out there. Go back and pick her up when she's done.
That's the thing here. You don't have to do anything, but you can because it's all available. And she said, are there decent medical providers nearby, or do you have to go to a bigger city? Oncologists, urologists, dentists, etc. We've got a lot of them. As to how good they are, it's all over the place. The ones that I have a good oncologist. We have a good dentist. And now the urologist I don't know about. But like I said, the ones we found, and it took a while to find the right ones. It really does, because like I said, there's a lot of people here. And you don't want a doctor's office where you have to sit and wait for an hour and a half, even if he is good. So it takes a while to kind of weed them out, but they do have them here. They said, along with the hospital, they've got so many medical buildings. I heard that one of the Advent Hospital, they're building a new emergency room. It's going in somewhere down on the south end, towards the Leesburg area. But it'll be in the villages. But like I said, we've got a lot of those.
I don't think so. I think I just done a report on that on the news. Isn't that over there where the corner over there? I said they've been refusing places over there because they keep saying it's across the street from the villages, right there by Rolling Acres Road.
No, I'm talking about south of 44.
Well, they're building a hospital thing over there.
But that's a different one.
I thought it was Advent Health, though.
Well, it might be. I don't know. But
they're also building a cardiology place here in the villages, across the street from Brownwood.
Had a new one open up the other day, so we're getting more and more all the time.
But that area across the street from Brownwood's not golf cart accessible.
No. And I said, and that's Ocala Health over there, and they're building another one over there. But yeah, there's a lot of them here. But I said, you got to take your time and weed through them and make sure you got the right ones for you.
Laura, I agree with Phil. Whatever Phil says, I agree with. She want to know if gas or electric, and he says gas. Definitely.
Yeah.
Place is too big anymore for electric. It just is.
Oh, Lynn Gendon, long time no see, been gone for the summer. Our son has been transferred to a military base. He is an MP officer, and we are looking at property close to him. However, still interested in Florida. Well, that's a big decision, and to be close to him, like I said, he's a grown-up now. Not sure he'd be real thrilled with that, actually. Sometimes you need your distance.
Who are we talking about?
Lynn.
I don't even...
Okay, you're probably way ahead of me.
Up there at the bottom. Oh.
I'm not at the bottom.
Seafood Portofino. I'm going to have to get together with Rizzo and go to this one over here that they keep talking about at Belglade.
Yeah, he gets the paella there too, and says it's wonderful. And I know you would like it. And I know it's not just rice.
Yes, it is.
No, it's seafood.
They throw shit in there, but it's basically rice.
That's what they put on top of the rice.
That's like saying the salt was wonderful, but they throw a little popcorn in that.
Yeah. See, Phil says, Laura, let's play. My wife and I have had many referrals for specialists, and they've all been great. Yeah, there's a lot of them down here. And I said, you just got to find the one that's good for you.
Marcia. She's on here somewhere. I see it there. Marcia, how do you like that Jerry got all that tagged on you? Jerry Bell done that.
Yeah, really, William Rizzo says, dress for the slide, not the ride.
What's for it say?
Dress for the slide, not the ride.
Dress for the slide.
The bike.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we did.
But on a 90-degree day, sometimes it can get really...
Yeah.
We got to stop and take a break. I can remember one time we stopped at a Dairy Queen somewhere, forget what it was. Everybody on the ride, we peeled our stuff off, threw it on the ground by the bike, got a Coke, and we all went out and sat under a shade tree. It's just hot.
Oh, and the funniest thing is our helmets had the autoplay in it. So when we're going down the road, we could hear the music on the radio. But if somebody start talking, it would shut it off. And I have a nasty habit of singing along with the radio. And finally, you'd have to say, "Would you shut up? You turn up the radio," because it would shut off the radio every time I'd start singing.
Oh, the price is high at Red Lobster. Well, Kevin, I don't know. Is it high compared to other seafood places? I don't know. I just know I was a Red Lobster fan because at one time Red Lobster and Olive Garden was owned by the same company. I guess they're not now, right? They sold it off. Well, I could get the seafood. What was it called? Ultimate Seafood Platter, Ultimate Seafood,
something like that.
Something like that. Which you got a little of everything, from crab legs to everything, the lobster tail, all that. And it was like $18 and some cents. And then on side of that, I would get the seafood gumbo. I love the seafood gumbo.
Yes.
When then, I don't know when the changes started, but the seafood gumbo turned into clam chowder. They ain't had it anymore. And then the last time I went to Red Lobster down here, and I can't speak for Red Lobster anywhere else, but down here, I went up there and the Ultimate Feast was upwards of like $36, I think, for me, not including anything else. And I just thought that was crazy nuts. So,
yeah. But then you look at the price of everybody else right now, because everybody went up.
Yeah, but we went down with Jesse. We went down to Punta Gorda. Went over to what's the name of that place? We always go in there and get seafood.
Fisherman's Village.
Yeah, but the name of the restaurant.
Oh,
I was going to say Mike's. That's not it.
No.
Harpoon Harry's.
Harpoon Harry's, yeah.
And it's not a fancy place, but I mean, the seafood is super good. The seating and then the view right there doesn't get any better.
Yeah. Bye, Vic.
And I think I got a seafood platter down there, which included everything except the lobster tail. That's the one thing missing down there. They don't even have lobster tails. And I think it was like $16. So how much is that lobster tail worth? I mean, maybe that's the price. I don't know.
Well, I know some places are advertising hamburgers for $16. So, in perspective, it's not that much. But I notice when I go by the one there on 466, I've noticed the parking lot is pretty bare all the time.
How much is a hamburger over at Wendy's?
I don't know.
You buy them.
I just buy them. I don't know. When you say you want one, I just stop and get one.
I know it ain't no $16 is my point. Ain't no $16.
Well, most of the restaurants around here it is.
These so-called restaurants around here that's got the so-called best hamburger around, they got a lot to learn from the corporate restaurants because the corporate restaurants has got it down pat.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that they're perfect in any way. I have gotten hamburgers from Wendy's that were just exceptionally good. And then the next time she brings me one home, it looked like some 2-year-old kid made it. Crap on the side of the bun's squashed.
How about the Kentucky Fried Chicken you got?
The last time she got Kentucky Fried Chicken, it was disgusting.
I couldn't believe that because I've never had bad Kentucky Fried Chicken.
This tasted like chicken they didn't sell the night before.
Yeah.
Put it in the refrigerator, brought it back out, and threw it in the microwave. It wasn't crispy. It was nothing. It was awful.
Yeah. Now, it's usually you, but the rest of the time I'm behind. I said, I usually it's you, but I'm very far behind.
Yeah, Americana says Ultimate Feast. Yeah, that's what it's called. And that's what I always got. It was just simple for me. It had everything on it. And I loved it. I ate the heck out of it. But I ain't been to a Red Lobster since, I don't even know when.
Yeah, it's about last time we went, I think, when we took Jessie.
Yeah, I took Jessie because, granddaughter, you got to take care of your granddaughter. She likes to go there. And it probably brings back memories to her, too. That was where she learned how to. It was funny. Let me tell you a little story. Jessie was about 4 years old. She was like a growth on my side. She was with me all the time. So we go to Red Lobster, and she would get off the child's menu, And then she would pick off of my plate all the time. I want to try that. I want to try that. And then the crab legs, it got to be the crab leg thing. I was showing her how to break them, and I'd give her the meat and whatever, you know. We went in there one day, and for some reason, it was just a serious thing that day. She looked at me and she says, I give her the child's menu. We're looking at it. And she looked at it. She said, Papa, I said, what? She said, I want to ask you something. I said, what? I want to get my own crab legs. I said, okay, I don't care. She said, but I want to order off the big menu, not the kids menu. I said, okay. It was funny the way she did it. So she got her own crab legs, and man, she broke them like a champ. I mean, she knew how to do it. And so whenever she comes here to visit, we take them out. A lot of time we go to Red Lobster because that's where she actually, I think, learned to like seafood. I don't think as a child, I don't think she had a lot of, when our granddaughters were little, we wanted them to see things. We know mom and dads are going to do stuff. They're going to take them to the zoo. They're going to take them to the amusement park. They're going to do all that stuff. But we wanted them to see other things. So in Indianapolis, we would take them to the opera. We would take them to dinner theaters, good dinner theaters where they had shows they put on. And we wanted them to see some of that stuff.
William Skirvin says you're a nut.
My what?
Said William Skirvin says you're a nut.
I'm a nut. I don't even see him on here.
Well,
I'm at the bottom and there's nothing there.
I'm not at the bottom yet. Hey, Bill.
Now, see, Dwayne says in Lexington, Red Lobster's affordable.
Really?
That's what I'm saying. From one area of this country to the other, they play games with this price thing.
Yeah.
But here, the Ultimate Feast, Dwayne, if you know, but here, last time I went up there, the Ultimate Feast was upwards of like $36. Now, I ain't been there for a long time. I don't know what the price is now. Mm-hmm. Because I read in a report somewhere that the company that owns Red Lobster is having financial trouble. So this could be a problem.
Yeah. Oh, and Laura, we don't have trash cans. We don't have trash cans here. They want you to put it out in bags. And everything is, don't worry about separating things for recycling. Everything goes in the same bag now. Used to, we recycled and we had to separate it. And your yard waste went in one bag and, you know, food waste went in one bag and then trash in another bag. But now it's all in the same bag. And like I said, they pick up twice a week. And, but yeah, we're not allowed to have trash cans. They don't want them sitting out.
So people let them sit out. Then next thing you know, bears, coyotes will get in it, knock trash over. Plus, I think having a trash can sitting next to your house makes your house look kind of trashy. I just don't like it. So, you know, it's just the way it is. And the idea of no recycling, that's something that really is fairly new. A couple of years ago, they took a bid on a new trash people to come around and pick up our trash. And they simply said, just put it all in one bag. We'll just take it all.
Yeah, because it's all incinerated now.
Because before that, you had to separate things. Mm-hmm. Recyclables was in a clear plastic bag. Trash was in a black bag or whatever. And then your yard waste had to be in a paper bag. Yeah. And so what they do now is much easier.
Yeah. And I'll give you a tip. Use the black bags. Don't use the white.
Look at that. Dwayne says it's only $19.99 up there for an Ultimate Feast at the Red Lobster.
Well, when are we going?
Well, I don't know if I never go there, but
yeah.
I'm just saying we're getting ripped off down here.
Well, I don't think it's that cheap unless it's a special, but
well, he ought to know. He lives there.
Well, but I would use the black trash bags, guys, because they have so much trouble with animals around here getting in your trash. And I said, I like to put mine out the night before because our trash man comes before I go out to walk, and it's still dark out. So I like to put it out the night before. And so I use the black trash bags, and I've never had a bit of trouble. Now, I know some people is constantly picking up trash because the animals have gotten their trash. But like I said, just trust me, use the black bags.
Laura Let's Play asked the ultimate questions that everybody keeps talking about, that I have debunked this thing 100 times. Says, what's with the swingers? I have no idea. I'm not a swinger. So if there's a swingers club around here, you're talking to the wrong person to know anything about that. And the loofahs. Most of the loofah thing around here is so people can find their golf cart in the middle of the night because they're drunk.
It's so funny.
And the STD stuff. Every time I get a comment about STDs, and I got one here about a week ago, a guy saying, "Oh, I know about the Villages. That place full of STDs." So I went to that guy's YouTube channel with the information. I can do that as a creator. I go in there, and guess where this guy was from? He was from somewhere in South America, and I looked at his videos. He's never been to the United States. So what the hell does he know about any STDs around here?
They all go by what they find on
I
Google.
did a Google search. Get on your phone, do a Google search. The number one town of STD problems is Memphis, Tennessee. It's not here. But if you want to get any STDs, well, I'm sure you could probably find one around there.
Brickyard Brickhead says in their area, rentals have to be a 30-day contract. So they sign and still only stay for a weekend or a week or whatever. Well, yeah, if they got that kind of money to throw away, you know.
They sign a 30-day contract to stay for a week. I bet I can tell you why. To stay for a week, they raise the price up like a campground. I could stay at a campground for, say, $50 a day. So that's $350. Or they'll say if you want to sign it for a month, it's only, I don't know, $400 for the month.
William Skirvin says 84. Is this 84 in Indiana, Bill? I said, we're coming up there soon. We don't know exactly when. But
I checked yesterday in Indianapolis. I forget, it was last night. I worked late last night. I slept in the other bedroom because I got down really, I was doing the news. I got down really late. And when I went to bed, well, no, before I went to bed, it was about 10:30. You were in bed. And the temperature in Indianapolis was 74. Now, that's some camping weather right there.
yeah, well, and Jessie just came back from there. I talked to her yesterday on the phone, and she said once you got up there, the temperature was still high, but there's no humidity up there like there is here. So it was a big difference in how, she said, I felt like I could breathe.
I will say that every time I do go to Indiana, for me anyway, maybe it's because I was raised there, I don't know, but I feel like I feel like the air's cleaner. I know that sounds dumb. It feels normal to me. But at the same time, once we're gone for a while, like if we're gone for 4 or 5 weeks in the camper and we're gone for a while, when we get down, I'll tell you what, airplane. We took a jet. We went to Indianapolis, I don't know, a couple of years ago or whatever. We were up there for a couple of weeks running around. We get in the plane, we're coming back. And up there, the weather's what it is. We come back down here, we get out of the plane, we walk to the airport, and the heat hit me in the face, and I told Susan, there it is. You just feel like this is what it's supposed to feel like, but yet when you go up there, you go like, well, this feels more like home.
Yeah. Laura wants to know, is there any areas you would suggest to avoid, like areas near sewer plants or garbage dumps? Yeah, there's one.
Here?
Like sewer plants or garbage dumps?
Yeah, the sewer, one of the sewer plants that I know of is up there by, I want to say Sunset Point, Liberty Park.
Liberty Park.
Across the street from Liberty Park. Now, I don't mean all of Liberty Park's bad, but you want to stay as far away from, is that Buena Vista right through? I think that's Buena Vista, or is that Morse Boulevard? It goes straight up through there.
I'm not sure.
I think it's Morse Boulevard. You want to stay back away from Morse Boulevard as far as possible because a couple times a year they clean it out. And trust me, you're going to know when they clean it out.
It's just a couple times a year. It doesn't ruin your whole year.
No, I don't. You can always walk around with an oxygen mask on, I suppose.
And they've got what do they call that when they've got a big mound of dirt that kind of surrounds it, so you don't see it.
You really don't.
And
it's hidden well.
Yeah, it's hidden well.
And then the only other one that I can think of, and I don't think there's any houses around there though, is on the other side of Volusia Golf Course.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a contractor's dump, but for some reason, every now and then, it can stink.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any houses back there.
And I don't know. I'm not sure what village it is, but there's a village that their fence on the other side is Trailwinds Village, where they're building all the hotels and the stores and stuff like that. I personally would not want to live there with just a fence dividing you from that area over there, that Beaumont area. That's a big area. They're putting in houses, apartments, condos. There's a hotel. There's all kinds of businesses and stuff. and there's nothing but just the wood fence to separate you, I personally wouldn't want in that area. I can't think.
A lady gave us advice long time ago, before we bought our first house. We asked her, she lived here. We asked her, said, is there any particular thing that I should really know about buying a house here? Anything, one major thing? She said, don't buy a home close to the outer edges of the villages. She said, because people will sneak in and cause trouble all the time. They always do. She said, get further in as far as you can, and you won't have that trouble.
Yeah.
Now, that might have been true then, maybe not be true today, but it is something to think about. If you buy a house, and right behind your house is Highway 44 or 466A, you're going to have truck noise, you're going to have that kind of problem, especially if you buy a house and in your backyard is the interstate. Yeah. Right? And
yeah.
we had that problem where people were complaining about the noise from the interstate.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the ones that I could think of. Sherry Campbell, I hope to get well soon, hon. She has to go. She had surgery last week. And she got to go ice her knee.
Sherry said the same thing at Campbell. Said Red Lobster is pricey there in Virginia, Tennessee, $90 for 2 people. And water to drink. Size portions are fairly small. That's a problem we have here. And I haven't been there in a long time. I go down to where I just said, Harpoon Harry's.
Yeah.
I like Harpoon Harry's. It's just a shame it's like 90 miles away.
Yeah. Bear Creek Girls off the shuffleboard. Well, it's past that 5 o'clock hour, so everybody's going, they're doing their thing. Yeah.
Oh, Hulk Hogan even has his own YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
I watched it last night. And then the guy that has Dirty Jobs, I can't think of his name. Mike somebody.
Yeah.
He has his own YouTube channel. One day a week, I think it is. I subscribe to it. It's called Coffee with My Mom. His mom's in a nursing home, assisted living home. His dad's 90 years old. And so he calls her and brings her up on the TV, the screen, so you can see, just like you can see here, except the screen's divided down the middle. She's on the left, he's on the right. He's at his house, wherever it is, and she's at her place, wherever it is. And they just talk. And last night, she's kind of like prim and proper to when she talks. Mike's really not. And you can see the disappointment in her face whenever he talks. It's kind of funny to watch.
Oh, William says, myself being a Miami native, born in '63, the McDuffie riot was in 1979 and very dangerous. Yes. Like I said, we could tell, when we come by the Oasis, halfway down there is Oasis with the filling station and everything. There was not an empty parking spot that didn't have a police car in it because they were calling from everywhere.
I've never seen so many cops in my life.
I never did either. And I said, it was a very serious riot.
And dumbass us, here we are just cruising down there. I stopped and asked cop directions how to find this place. No cell phone and stuff back then. We find this place and the guy goes, well, we're having a riot at 5 o'clock. What?
Yeah. Oh, and Laura wants to know, do they ever close the pool in the winter or are they open year round? They're open year round and heated. They think they're supposed to be 82 degrees at all times. Now, some of the other staff, like the town squares, they've got rules for those at a certain temperature or storms, and you can usually find that in your phone book. They'll have all that information and what time they would shut it down or what temperature they'd shut it down or when the storms are. And your recreation news that comes in the paper every Thursday, they'll also have it in there.
1999, and then here, that still boggles my mind. Same thing here is like, I don't even know what it was, $36. And she said where she's at, it's $90 for 2 people. That's kind of the way, I got a thing from Fat Bob last night because he knows I'm getting close to heading up toward Indiana. I told him what's going to determine me going up there. I said, one is this heat. I'm not going up there in this heat. And then the other one was, it says gas prices. I said, every time it seems like I'm ready to go somewhere, for some reason the gas prices keep going up. So he sent me a thing. I told him down here the gas price was $3.59 or something like that a week ago, give or take. He sent me a thing last night saying the gas price in Indiana now is $3.99.
But it'll come down just like it did here. It's starting to come
Why
down
did it even
here.
go up?
Because the Saudis quit giving us enough. I don't know.
Bomb them. So either you give us the stuff at the right price, or we're coming over here and we're just going to take it. It's your choice.
William wants to know if you can have a pet pig in the villages. You know, a little potbelly pig.
Well, as far as I know, there ain't no damn law
As long
rule
as you
against
keep
it.
them on a leash.
Yeah, the only thing it says is any pet outside your house has to be on a leash.
Mhm.
So if you wanted to give your little potbelly pig a little walk around the block on your leash, go by my house so I can have you come up on Porch Settin out front, and we'll show everybody your little potbelly pig.
Yeah, and Phil says cooked or raw. Gringo says bacon.
So don't animals get in plastic? Well, actually, the rule here, Cheryl, is you're not supposed to set your trash out until the morning of pickup. But they pick up here, I don't even know what time, but it must be really early in the morning. So what everybody does now is they just set them out late at night, probably before they go to bed. That's where your Airbnb people are causing a big problem also. Because, and I can understand it, I'm not blaming anybody. They're here for, say, 2 days, and they're going to leave Sunday night. Trash don't pick up in that neighborhood, say, till Tuesday. Well, they're going to leave it out there Sunday night when they leave. So it sits out there for 2 days. And people are complaining about it because it ain't really the bears and things so bad. It's them damn ravens. I'll call them ravens. They're bigger than a crow. I have actually watched them things. They'll sit on roof of houses, man, waiting for you to set this stuff out. And they'll get down there and they pick at that bag and they'll rip it open and they'll pull stuff out and this and that. Now, we haven't had any problem here, I don't think, but some neighborhoods do. And that's just the only problem is that.
Okay, I'm trying to get down to where you are.
Huh?
Trying to get down to where you are.
You don't want to come down to my level.
I know that.
It's dirty down here.
Okay. Let's see.
We're at the 2-hour mark now. We're going to have to end this.
We are.
Yep. That's damn looking at.
Well, we had a good time with y'all today. I said, check back with us next week, next Wednesday.
Looky there. Fly on the Wall says where she's at. Red Lobster's ultimate feast is $40.99.
Well, that would make sense if they're talking $90 for two.
But Lexington, he said it was $19.99.
Well, I can't really believe that because that's prices that we had years ago.
I don't know. I haven't Googled a lot of that. I just know what mine is, and so I just kind of quit going there because I just think that's ridiculously high. I got nothing against Red Lobster. It's just the price of things.
Well, and like I said, the last Red Lobster we was at, I think it's the one in Leesburg, and it was awful. But it was during COVID. You know, they didn't have any people in there. And
Cliff Laven says, swingers in a retirement community? Are you serious? Most of the men have a hard time just getting out of bed.
That's true. That's why it's so laughable. I mean, when you think about it, now we do have some people in their 50s here.
And 30s.
Well, yeah, but I mean, not that many. But I mean, there's probably a lot in the 55 and over category. The biggest share of us here are past the 65 mark.
Do the restaurants charge and submit hospitality taxes to the villages, or does it go to the county? Never heard of it.
Yeah, I know what
I can tell you on rentals, because I used to rent my small villa out in the wintertime, that if you rent it out less than 6 months, that's where everybody get that 6-month thing, then you have to pay a hotel tax to Sumter County. It doesn't have anything to do with the state of Florida. It's just Sumter County.
I know what she's talking about.
I've never heard of that.
Well, I said they charge hotels and restaurants, and it's a hospitality tax of some kind.
I've never seen it on a bill.
Yeah, I haven't either. Although I have noticed here late that they're charging you if you use a credit card now in certain places.
Which is crap.
It is, but it's legal, so they can do it.
I'm not sure it is.
Well, you just don't frequent those places anymore if they do that.
People ain't never pushed the issue. I remember when credit cards was first enacted, and they were doing the same thing then. I had a store then, and they were saying the same thing then, that credit cards cost us the store money, and they would back charge you this credit card charge. Then somebody took it to court, And I don't know who, don't know why, or anything like that. And then the court said that if you accept credit cards, it has to be accepted the same as cash. And then you never saw this at all. Now, all of a sudden, in the last few years, you're starting to see where they're starting to charge you now because you're using a credit card. So did that law rescind? Did it go away? Is it still there and people are just ignoring it? I don't know. But I don't like it.
Lena Francis says, oh my gosh, my husband sent me this YouTube link and it's my fave news, guys. Says, hey, y'all. Hey, Lena.
Are you subscribed? That's how we get them, one at a time.
Yeah. Okay.
77 in Lexington today. See, it's a lot cooler up there.
Yeah. Hey, Dawn. Okay.
Look at that. Talkman says Subway has a foot-long sandwich in their town that's $7.50. But if you go to the airport terminal, that same sandwich is $30.
Good Lord.
I know they do that on car rental. That's why I try to have a friend of ours pick us up at the Indianapolis airport and take me to a car rental in a town I used to live in, because they have this airport tax, they have this courtesy stuff. I don't even know what all. But the same car will cost me twice as much at the airport than if I just go to this little town and get one.
Oh, Aileen Torres. Are you new,
Hot
Aileen?
Job. Hot Job says, what's for dinner tonight? Good question. Last night I had to have spaghetti out of a can.
You did not. You had
I
meatloaf.
did have
You had meatloaf.
leftover meatloaf.
Well, yeah, it was left
and
over.
leftover corn and leftover beans.
Yeah.
And before that, I had spaghetti out of a can.
Yes. But you like spaghetti out of a can.
I do like spaghetti out of a can. I tell you, my favorite is probably beefaroni. I like beefaroni. Beefaroni in a bowl, 2 cans really for me, and then a couple of slices of white bread with butter on it. Because when you get done eating beefaroni, you got all this soupy stuff down there. That bread goes down there and just sops all that right up.
Oh, and Laura, as far as chain restaurants, we got them all. I mean, we got them all here. We've got Texas Roadhouse, we've got Carrabba's, we've got Olive Garden, we've got Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, we got all the main stuff.
Yeah, plus the ones inside. We've got over 100 inside the villages.
And then as far as hamburger joints go, from the north up there, we've got, what's this new one over here? Butterburger.
Culver's.
We got Culver's here now. And somebody says something about, well, at least you got a Dairy Queen there. No, we don't. We don't have no Dairy Queen in the villages. It's outside the villages. There's none inside the villages.
Yeah.
Mike Rowe, that's it. That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Go to his YouTube channel, and it's called Coffee with My Mom, something like that. You might like
it. Find the Wall said that's how they painted their house, paint and sip. Oh my goodness. Laura Leslie says, I just got a full-size Ford Bronco. Is it going to be hard to park at the squares? Are the spaces big enough?
Spaces are big enough like any other parking lot. Our spaces are no different than Walmart spaces or Kmart's or wherever you go. They're all the same. It's just that at the squares, there's going to be very few of them, because when the squares start, it's going to be jam-packed full of golf carts. Yeah. And you're not going to find it hardly. If you find a place to park, you'll be lucky. Yeah. But at any square, I don't care where you go, you got all these stores that are going to be around the square, and in the middle of it is where the action's at. Any of those stores that you see around it, go behind them stores. There's huge parking lots back there. Yeah. You just have to walk a little bit to get to the square.
Yeah. Yeah. Phil says, Skip, you can get anywhere in the villages if Linda drives.
Yeah. I don't drive.
Yeah.
I try not to drive. Now, tomorrow's going to be a little different. I might drive tomorrow. We got to go to DeLand, Florida. So I might drive tomorrow. Don't know. We'll see.
Well, Laura, you know, that's what we're here for. You know, if you have those questions, that's what we do is we try to answer them. We're not always 100% right, and we don't always know every question, but we do what we can. And if I can't answer it, I usually look it up and put it on the next week to let you know.
Bob Smart says, my wife, Ruthan, would like to know if they have pools have water aerobics. Yes, they do, but you have to look in the paper, I think, to figure out what day of the week, what pool. It's always sports pools. They don't do them at the neighborhood pools and stuff, but it'll be the sports pool. That's where they have the water volleyball, water aerobics. They got a thing called Buffalo something something. That's for the men exercises. Mm-hmm. They do all kind. I watched them one time, and I just thought, I don't know if I want to do that or not. It looks like you could drown yourself. But yeah, they got all kinds of cool stuff that they do.
They do. The recreation news comes out in the Daily Sun every Thursday, and in that recreation news, it'll tell you what their activities are in each rec center, and it'll give you the number for the person that's in charge of those activities, so you can call them and find out everything you need. If you need to bring something with you, or if they only allow so many in the class and they're full, you got to call them and ask them that.
Laura says, are there any areas with more traffic than others? Well, it depends what time of year you're talking about. This time of year, the traffic here is kind of minimal, but as it gets bigger and bigger, it gets, a little bit more and more. All the main roads is where the traffic is really going to be. Morris Boulevard, Buena Vista, that kind of thing. When you start getting on the side roads, not so bad. Shopping areas, depending on where you go. Walmart, from what I've seen at the Walmart stores, it's always a cluster. And you go to these other stores, though, they're not near as bad. In the wintertime, just forget it. I don't care where you go. When the snowbirds are here, traffic is just nuts. But we find it's about timing. Like if Sue needs to go to the grocery store when the snowbirds are here in the winter, remember the squares start the music and dancing at 5 o'clock. People generally will start showing up at 4 and 4:30 to get their chairs set up. So she'll go grocery shopping around 5:30 because not that the stores are empty, but they're not near as crowded because they're all at the squares where the bands are playing. So that's when she goes to the grocery store. If you'll look, when her leg was broke and I had to do the grocery shopping, which I hate doing, it was dark out. I went at 10 o'clock at night. And when I went into the store, because the squares are done at 9 o'clock, most people here by 10 o'clock are done in bed sleeping. I went to the grocery store and there was nobody in there.
Yeah. Steven Zelensky says gas went up because of the heat wave down south. And I think you already covered that once.
Somebody said something about that, yeah. About the heat was going to cause gas prices to go up. And I couldn't, I know what it was, because of the refineries. They're not designed to operate in high temperatures and they have to shut them down. Or
when it got over the 100-degree mark, it put a dent in what they were doing, yeah. Is there any areas with more traffic than others?
I just answered that.
Okay. Your main thoroughfares, 441, 27, 441, 466, 466A, 44. Those are your main thoroughfares, and those are the ones with the most traffic.
Tammy says gas in Northeast Tennessee is $3.48. See, that's about what it was here a week ago. I'm gonna check on that gas price again because it was Fat Bob. Okay. Sometimes this information gets a little wonky.
Marcia, I think probably the sandhill cranes do, because I've seen them go through my flower pots looking for the little gecko eggs, but I've never had that problem myself. I know a lot of people that's had problems with animals getting in the trash bags. And I said, I don't have any problem. And I said, I always use the black bags.
As far as I know, we've never had a bear. I know we had a coyote in our neighborhood a couple times because Sue saw it. She was out walking in the morning. She said she saw it on the road. So that's really that. Well, we had an armadillo when we first moved here. Mm-hmm. Darned armadillo. She kept planting flowers out front, and the armadillo every night would come out here and dig them up.
Yeah. I'm having trouble right now because of the kind of weather we've had with the powdery mildew. And I've sprayed and sprayed and sprayed. And it's just, it's for some reason, I've got a voluntary tomato plant back here. I didn't plant it. I think the birds pooped in my pot. but the plants were doing very, very good. But like I said, I've just had to fight the powdery mildew because I've sprayed them with the neem oil, and I've sprayed them with the Dawn and water, and you name it. I've tried it, and they're still alive. but you can tell I don't think I'm getting any more. I did get 3 little tomatoes off of it. But
Sherry says, I'm butting them because we're running out of time.
Okay.
Sherry says, our Waffle House now, charges $8.50 extra for a to-go order, plus tax.
Good Lord. Well, see, I didn't know that.
If you're picking it up, why are they charging you $8.50?
Yeah.
Now, we get to-go orders once in a while at Olive Garden. Why do they charge you?
They don't charge me anything.
This ain't making sense. This all sounds like it's just a greedy grab of money is all this
Yeah.
is.
DNA says she enjoyed sitting on our porch today.
Well, I'm glad you did because you was by yourself because we're on the lanai. It's too hot on the porch.
Yeah. And we may get back out there and, next week. You never know what kind of weather we're going to have. But that 100-degree weather is just too much.
Marvin says, do you have a Whataburger? No, Marvin, we don't.
Yeah.
I know in Texas they're everywhere. Everywhere we went, the Whataburger, Or every time we call somebody about saying, well, where are we going to meet you at? Well, over here by the Whataburger. There's Whataburgers everywhere. I stopped at a Whataburger one time when I was in Texas and got a bite to eat. Maybe it was a bad day. I don't know. But both of us agreed we weren't impressed at all.
Yeah. Amanda Kay says the floor shop, it was $200 less if they sent them a check.
Wise Christian says, will the new sinkholes hurt real estate sales? No, just that one real estate that's sitting there next to the sinkhole. It was for sale. Yeah, he's going to have a problem. Sinkholes here pop up every rainy season. It's just a matter of where. It's kind of like in Indiana. Every season, tornadoes pop up. It's just a matter of where.
Yeah, and it's not like we're the only place. You remember the Corvette Museum?
Yeah, in Kentucky.
Yeah, they had a heck of a sinkhole there. Swallowed up a lot of cars.
Yeah,
So
we do seem to, though, in Florida. This seems that we get more than our fair share here, the way we're setting. I just watched that. They've had sinkholes in Jacksonville. They've had them everywhere. But it does seem like this whole area here gets more than our fair share.
Yeah,
that's not to say
part of shale.
Yeah, Kissimmee. People say they don't have them down there. Well, that's a lie. They've got a huge lake downtown Kissimmee that filled in with water. They didn't do anything with it because that was the sinkhole, and they just left it there. Disney World had several sinkholes. They just don't talk about it, but they were there. I know because I talked to employees. They know that sinkhole. That's the history of it.
Yeah.
And so we're not the only ones, but it just seems like that it seems like that we get more than our fair share, and it might be because we're the largest retirement community in the world. That it's just broadcasted more. As soon as something happens here, it's every YouTuber's got something.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's another reason why I quit kind of doing a lot of that stuff, because I don't. It's like the STD thing. People got a hold of that, and here we are 20 years later, and it's still there. They just won't let go of something that's been proven wrong. But anyway, that being said, I'm gonna get out of here.
My phone's already dead.
Yeah, it's been over 2 hours. I don't know why we talk so long. I don't have that much to even say.
Sweet.
All right. That's what the little bird said. That's sweet.
That's sweet.